Today I have a very special guest, Hugo González. How are you?
First of all, thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be part of this podcast. Let's have some fun there.
González looking to break the record of 3:33.42. Here he comes. González is going to do it at the wall in 3:32.88. A dominant swim for the Cal 50-year senior.
Man, this is a hell of a journey.
Oh my God. And you considered going to Virginia Tech, right?
It was more than I considered.
So you dropped out of college one day into the semester.
Yes.
And did you know you were going to redshirt?
No.
Oh,
No.
Shit.
I think that was the perfect recipe for me to just give up swimming. And that's what kind of happened. When I joined Cal, when I had the call with Dave, he asked me what my goals were. I remember one of the goals that I told him was maybe breaking an NCAA record.
No way. No way.
This guy was going for that record. There's no other way to put it. I mean,
He put his finger up because he already knew.
He knew it.
Look at that's so sick.
he knew it.
This is the most fun I've ever had on the podcast. But no, you gained a real fan today.
Keep looking for this podcast because I'm getting better and better, and I just can't wait to see how far you get.
This week's guest is the great Hugo González. Hugo is a two-time Olympian, both at Rio and in Tokyo, as well as now an NCAA individual champion and team champion. Back last year in 2022, he broke the 400 IM record at the NCAA championships. Since then, it's been rebroken, but he is still a record breaker in and of itself. We get to that story, and many people would assume that Hugo's journey has been smooth, nice, and full of success, but that wasn't always the case. We talked about how he's transferred twice, how he was at 3 different universities in the span of a year, dropping out of college one day into the semester, redshirting as a collegiate athlete, and so much more. We also talked about his races, getting 9th place but the best time at NCAAs, how COVID affected some of his best times, being the best swimmer in the 400 IM in terms of timing, but not necessarily having that championship under his belt until last year, and so many more things. It's truly an incredible story. It's hilarious, it's inspirational, it's emotional, it's a lot of things. It's one of my favorite episodes to this day. Incredible story. I truly am blown away. So all I can say is I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. And with that being said, let's get this show running. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Denting. My name is Fernando Andrade and today I have a very special guest, someone that is a native Spanish speaker, but here we are speaking in English. Hugo González, how are you?
Hello, good. I'm good. First of all, thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be part of this podcast. And yeah, so as you said, my name is Hugo González. I'm from Spain, and let's have some fun there.
Yeah. I'm very excited for this. Like you said, you are from Spain, and pleasure to have you here. It's a crazy story that you have. I met you a few weeks ago with Marcos, who is also here. But before we dive deeper into this, do you want to introduce yourself a bit more? You're obviously from Spain, but a bit of your journey just on a personal note.
Yeah, well, as you said, or we said before, I'm from Spain, but that's not just the how I identify myself. I'm Brazilian, so I'm half Brazilian, half Spanish. I also have family all around France, all around United States, so like kind of a mix of everything. But apart from that, I'm also a swimmer, part of the Calman swimming team. I've been swimming pretty much since I was like 3 years old, so it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And I hope I can continue my professional career in swimming once I graduate, at least for a few years. Other than that, I've been studying Spanish and Portuguese as a major, although I started with computer science.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the thing is that it got pretty hard, especially in Berkeley. But my goal is still to pursue my career there once I'm graduating. So I will be partially considered a professional athlete, I guess, but I will still be in college. So we'll see.
That's the difference with swimming, right? That to be a pro athlete, you can't really do that full time, at least not yet, in terms of how schedules work and financially and things like that. So yeah, definitely interesting. like you mentioned, you are Spanish. You're also Brazilian. Being from Spain, Brazilian blood. Did you go straight into swimming, or was there ever any soccer involved as well?
There was part with soccer. I feel like I cannot get away from the culture of both sides. So I actually the first sport I practiced was soccer.
Yeah.
I got into the water too when I was 3 years old, but like that wasn't just a competitive swimming. It was just like to have fun. I was just following my dad whenever he went to like have some breaks in the weekends from work. But at some point, swimming required more hours, and soccer required hours too. But I had to like pick a side. And I remember I stuck with swimming just because my coach told me that, or not, she didn't tell me. She told my parents that for the first Olympian that they were gonna get in that club, I might as well just stick with it and then switch it later.
Okay.
And here we are, like 10 years later, 15 years later.
But what do you mean getting the first Olympian? So there was going to be someone from your club that was going to the Olympics?
Well, I mean, like we never got an Olympian from that club. And she thought that I had the potential to be an Olympian. And, well, she was right.
Yeah.
So it's been exciting. I mean, it's been exciting, but I definitely think sometimes, like, how my life would have looked like if I chose soccer instead of swimming.
That's so interesting. So what drove you, in essence, was that your coach believed in you from the get-go, and you guys had never had an Olympian from that club.
Yeah.
You're a 2-time Olympian now, which is crazy. That's awesome. Did you like swimming more, though?
Well, I think at that point I was just too young, so like both sports were not really competitive for me. I was just I was just having fun. It was just like a cool thing to do with my friends.
Wow.
And I in fact remember the best moments of swimming at that stage of my life. It wasn't that I was swimming. It was like the moment before when I got out of the pool, and I got to hang out with my guys or with the boys. Just like 30 minutes before our dads like come picks it up. So
Wow, that's very, very interesting. I hadn't asked you that on purpose. It was definitely one of the questions I had, and something I meant to ask you. How was your childhood with swimming? Something we've talked about is definitely the difference between, like, especially for international students, right? Like, there's not that concept of student athlete. So how did you balance that up growing up in Spain?
I think the general routine of being a student athlete didn't change that much because I was lucky enough to be part of a program who was being run by somebody that tried to have all the best athletes in Madrid. That's the city I'm from. So they try to have the best athletes in Madrid train together and go to school together for high school.
Okay.
Those like 6 years before college. So I was kind of into that rhythm already. Like I knew what it was like to wake up early, get to practice, and then head to class, and then head back to practice again, and finally get back at home at like 8 p.m. to keep studying, and then finally back asleep. So it wasn't that much of a change. I was pretty lucky in that sense.
And they organized that program to be able to send people to the U.S., or was it just within Spain?
No, it was just as a like a high school program to try to elevate the level in Madrid. It didn't have any final goals of like sending people to the US.
Okay. Was that the Madrid Bears? Is that the same group or no?
Oh no, that's just a different one.
Okay, different one. Okay, because I've seen they post a lot through there. In terms of your youth, like you mentioned, it was just for fun. At what age did it start to get competitive for you? I know you started competing, I think it was 2016, 17, like juniors as well. Obviously, you went to Rio in 2016, but
Yeah.
how was the youth national team system for you growing up? Like that competitive switch from fun to, all right, I'm competing on a world stage.
Yeah. Well, now that I'm 23, it's kind of hard to like
Yeah.
decide what was the year of the moment that I switched. But if I had to pick a year, it would probably be 2015. That year was really special for me, especially the summer, because it was the first kind of like international high-level meet that I went to. I qualified for the 2015 World Junior Championships. And that was like the first moment when I traveled outside and I realized, like, oh, wow, like this is the level of the best swimmers in the world. Like, they don't have to be like the pro athletes, but like these are the best swimmers of the age of 18 and younger, and this is how fast they're swimming. And that's the moment I realized, well, it's time to get out. It's time to like elevate our level and like get ready to compete with these guys.
Yeah, for sure. That's special, and it's definitely different and eye-opening. I know, like, some of the things I was reading through, like, with articles, right, is that there isn't as much competition in Spain as there is in a country like the U.S. when it comes to swimming. So how eye-opening were those moments for you to be able to see other people that are as good as you? Were you used to that?
I wasn't used to that. As you said, the level in Spain, I mean, I wouldn't say it's low, but it's just a one country side. Like you're not getting the whole picture of the global level. And once I traveled, I think it was Singapore. I got to see like Italian people getting to podiums and winning events, like Americans winning events, like Russians, like all the kids around the world. And I actually did pretty well. I think I got 2 medals. I got disqualified in 1. Right, so it would have been 3, but it's okay. And that kind of set me up for the next years. Like I knew that I had another opportunity to qualify for this meet again in 2017. So the whole goal of attending to that meet was like, all right, first meet was I realized what's the level like. 2 years later, the goal, the objective was like being able to compete with these guys and maybe get a scholarship to go to the United States. Because that's when I started thinking about, okay, my journey might have just started. It might just started here in Spain and might end up in the United States, because like in terms of swimming, there are probably like 2-3 countries on the top level right now. And America's one of them.
Yeah.
So
what would you say the other 2 are?
Probably Russia's doing pretty well, without a controversy, but Russia's doing pretty well. And Australia too.
Okay.
Yeah,
they're top countries for sure. With what you started mentioning for college, was it thanks to those trips that you realized like, oh, all of these people are committed to go to college, or they are about or even in college already? Is that why you started looking at collegiate swimming?
I started mainly for 2 reasons. One of them is that, obviously the team that went there, the American team in 2015, and 2017 was probably the team that scored not most points, but, the team that got more medals and more guys in the podium. Another reason for that was because, I don't know if you know this guy, but his name is Sergio Lopez.
I was going to say Sergio Lopez, yeah.
Yeah, he was a head coach of Auburn swimming team. He won, no, he didn't win. He made the podium at the Olympics on the 200 breaststroke in 1988, I think, if I'm not right. But he was there. He was a Spanish guy. It was easy to talk to him, so I just reached out to him after 2015, and he didn't say he had a scholarship, but he said that I could potentially be there, and that was kind of like the fire that started. Like the don't really know how to say this. It was what boosted my confidence and my motivation to like keep going.
Yeah, it inspired you. Yeah. You saw another Spaniard being there, and you were like, I can do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So the first thing is obviously you see all the Americans, and you're like, all right, I want to compete with those medals. But the second is Sergio Lopez, like you said, right? And in 2015, you reach out to him. If you're 23 right now, you were what, 15, 16 back then?
Yeah, 16 years old.
Okay, so 16, you start reaching out to him. When was it that you committed to Auburn? Did you look at other schools or not really?
Not really. I knew that Florida was really well as California, but I feel like it's just because the fact that I didn't know English very well at that time, it was just a limited factor.
Yeah.
That played a role in my decision, and knowing that he was there made my parents feel secure and made me feel safe too. But like if I struggle with anything, I know that I have somebody to reach out. And sadly, that relationship, the relationship didn't break, but like I was with him for the whole season 2017. Then the Auburn program decided to fire all the coaches and rebuild the program.
Yeah.
And that's when I really started to like looking into different colleges.
Yeah. So before we even take that leap, because I know that that's when it started to change, but how big of a leap was that for you? Because obviously, no, you're good. You're good. Obviously, like you said, the swimming opportunity is there. It's amazing, right? Like we can't deny how good the NCAA level is, at least right now, like to prep guys for the Olympic level, which is where you're at, right? You're there. You show up in 2017. You're already an Olympian from 2016 in Rio, but how big was that leap? Like what you mentioned with your English, like you wanted the swimming part bad, but how bad enough to be able to learn a third language? Because you already know two languages. You're already fluent in two. You have to add a third language on top of that and pursue an education. Yeah. Were you even interested in the education part?
At first, I want to say that I was, but after like 5 years of being here,
yeah,
I realized that I wasn't really that concerned about my education.
Yeah.
That I think that part of me started like 3 years ago, so it was kind of late. But I wanted to be a better swimmer so bad that I decided to take the step. And knowing the past of like a Spanish swimming history, I knew there's been like great swimmers in Spain that also took this trip, this like whole jump from Spain to United States, and they did well. They one of the names is like Marina Garcia. She was also a cow swimming for the cow men's team or cow women's team.
Yeah.
Another guy is Eduardo Solaeche. He went to Florida University. He did well and has a great future in terms of professionally, not in terms of like athletics. And I saw these guys' success, and I was like, I want to be part of them.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And like you said, you go to Auburn, and first off, it was only 1 year, but you get a taste of the difference culturally. So not even swimming-wise, but just showing up to Auburn. How was it being there on that campus with school and everything like that? How was that experience like for you?
Well, I was really lucky in Auburn. I got really good friends, really good class of freshmen that took pretty much care of me like of everything. Like I realized that I couldn't take care of myself outside the swimming pool. Like once I get in the swimming pool, it's easy. Like we have like a few routines, like like going to the hotel, getting back, packing everything, and getting to the warm up, racing, and warm down. And I feel like I had that locked in. But what I didn't realize is like life is so much more than just a swimming pool, and it's so much more than just academics. I remember like I was just struggling to like get there and figure out what kind of bed I wanted, or like if I needed pillows or just a desk.
Yeah.
So it was like simple stuff, like everybody knows how to do that. But it was great. It was great to be there and have this group of guys. The first name that comes to my mind is Spencer Rowe. He was probably my best friend there. And I learned how to be independent in that sense. I think he graduated already this year. But no, he still came to NCs after this year. Even if I'm swimming for Cal, he still showed up. And I believe the first team or the first contact that he had at the NCAA pool was me. It wasn't even Auburn. So, like you build these relationships that last forever. It's not just part of the college.
Yeah. That's awesome that you had that support, right? Because it is a huge cultural shift. In terms of the swimming, something I had talked about with Marcos is that he was very shocked at first with the difference in schedule and waking up early and things like that. You mentioned that you already did that, but was it even a bigger shift or not really? Were you used to it in the pool?
For me, the routine wasn't hard.
Okay.
It was actually, I shouldn't say this, but it was actually easy. Like I was used to spending way more time in the pool, and now our practice shifted in the terms that we have more intense practices that they were so much shorter. Yeah. So the thing is that you had to be ready every single time compared to like when I was training in Spain. Like you have some days that you were just like bouncing from wall to wall, but not really like swimming fast. And that's what makes a difference here at Cal. What was hard for me wasn't the schedule. What was hard for me was like paying attention to academics.
Okay.
That's why like when I transferred from Auburn, I thought I wanted to be a computer science major. and I got here, and I still want it, you know, but like it's the same thing. Like people want to win the lottery,
Yeah.
but you know you have to work for that.
Yeah.
Maybe not the lottery, but like, you know, people want to be millionaires. I work for that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't working for academics until probably like 2 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, and especially like you said, that shift from Auburn to here is. I mean, I'm not sure how similar it is because I've never been to Auburn. I've only studied here, right? But I'm sure there is some sort of shift just because of the academic rigor at Cal and things like that. But obviously, just that first season, even as a freshman in the NCAA, you have a great season. Like, it's not something that should go unnoticed at all. You were the SEC male freshman of the year, which is crazy. You were first in the program to do that, like in program history, which is awesome. You were all SEC first team, the 400 IM champion in the SEC. You set 3 school records as a freshman. In the 200 back, 200 IM, 400 IM, like your strengths, right? It's what you continue to do to this day, which is awesome. But like you said, at the end, completely new staff, and that's kind of what you relied on to even get here. So take me through that. How did you find out when the staff was going to be replaced and that shift? What was your reaction? What were you feeling?
It was... I wouldn't say it was unexpected. There were a lot of rumors within the team, knowing that we didn't perform as the head coach or as the athletic department wanted us to perform at NCAAs. And there was, there was this rumor about the swimmers saying like, like this might change a lot next year. We might do things differently, but the thing that caught me by surprise is that we didn't think that every single coach was gonna be fired. Or not fired, but like just pushed away from the program.
Yeah.
We thought it was gonna happen with like one of them, maybe 2 of them, not 5 of them. And the difference between Cal and the Auburn swimming program is that we all train together. There is not a women's team and a men's team. We all train together. So like when they decided to push all the coaches, it's like actually all the coaches.
Oh wow!
So it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, and the first thought that came into my mind was like, okay, I might just go back home. I wasn't, as I told you, I wasn't really that into academics, and after knowing that the athletic program was gonna change completely, and the only guy that I had a lot of trust in was gonna be gone. Was probably gonna be somewhere in another college, another state, or maybe even another country. It just made me want to like go back home.
Wow.
And I actually told my parents that, and I was like, okay, well, it's gonna be your choice, but give it on a second thought, because I was already there. I had a scholarship. I could probably keep swimming for like a few more years and just get a degree and just figure out life after that. But
wow. Yeah, I mean, it must have been a huge change. That guy you trust, you come all the way across the pond per se, and damn, yeah, that must be crazy. Did you, before we continue, did you enjoy training with the women's team? I can't imagine. I know other swim programs do that, but personally, I can't imagine like men's soccer and women's soccer training together. So
yeah,
how was that experience like at Auburn?
It was actually really good. I mean, I feel like in order to have that, you need to have both teams really into the same page. Like you cannot have fights in between the team. You cannot have like dumb shit happening, right? You need everybody to be in the same page and understanding what we are trying to accomplish and what they are trying to accomplish. Because a lot of meets we do them together. There's like, for example, like a lot of dual meets.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the not the conference meet, but the NCAA championships, I think we are a week apart, and that's where the taper starts changing. That's where the hard training starts to like not be in the same dates, and that's when like we need to like really be synchronized with everybody. Yeah. But it was fine. We knew how to do that, and I think everybody got along with each other.
Yeah. Why do you think you don't do that here at Cal?
Mainly because we are too many.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the big difference. I feel like the main reasons could we have right now 38 guys in the team.
38 on the men's team?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't realize there was that many.
Yeah, so the biggest problem is actually when we have to like just swim and not get maybe like 5 people in the same lane, because you can actually not swim because you keep lapping your own teammates. so you cannot focus on your team. And the second thing that I think we don't have that in Cal is because both of our head coaches have a really long history of success, and they both have a different mindset, different like program to run, and it's just a different perspective of how to look into swimming. Yeah. So sometimes that's not just compatible.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, obviously, I know how good both coaches are. They're greats, so it's very hard to put those two together. But I have seen other programs that do train together, and that was just interesting from that perspective. I saw that all this news breaks out at Auburn. Sergio Lopez was an associate head coach. He's gone. He's going to Virginia Tech, and you considered going to Virginia Tech, right?
It was more than I considered.
Oh.
I was there for a few days.
Oh, wait, for a few days?
Yeah. No, but I was officially enrolled in the team and in the school. That's why it took me so long to be able to compete for Cal.
Okay, you got to tell me this story, because I didn't know you fully enrolled. I just saw the news was that you were speculating of going there, and then 2 weeks later you showed up at Cal. But what was that? What was that?
Honestly, if I could see my life at that point from my mom's perspective, I think I would have needed to be hospitalized.
Wow.
Because I don't think I would have handled it. But so I was in Spain, right? I moved to Auburn for one whole season. Came back after NCs, after around May, June. I went to European Championship that summer. Still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then Sergio Lopez told me, Hugo, I know it's been rough, but I'm going to be a head coach of Virginia Tech swimming program, and I want you here. And, having that trust, the trust didn't change. All the main reason why I left Auburn is because I didn't have that person that made me want to go there, made me trust the program. So I say, okay, let's do it. Like, you're gonna be there. Let's keep building this journey, right? This dream. And I was there for a few weeks. Or no, I don't even think I can say a week.
Wow.
Probably like 5 days.
But you were physically there? You weren't in Spain anymore. You were physically there.
Yeah. I took the flight. I was there.
Did you move in?
To two different places in 5 days.
So you moved into Virginia Tech and everything. You had a dorm or apartment, whatever it was.
I think first 2 to 3 days I was off campus, and then the next 2 days I was on campus.
And then
I feel like it was a mix of everything. I wasn't mentally ready to change that drastically. Like, it's already a huge change, changing like my Spanish culture and my Spanish side of life to Auburn. And then I don't think I thought it enough about going to Virginia Tech. I think in my mind was just, all right, Sergio Lopez goes to Auburn, I go with him. He moves to place, I go with him too. And I got there and I realized making friends is so much harder when you're not a freshman. That's why I think there are so many programs trying to help transfer students, because all the relationships are already formed, or they are still forming, but you have that group of friends, that freshmen, that you're still figuring out where to go, where the classes are, where the dining hall, and everything. So I got there. It was really hard to form these kind of relationships, knowing that my group, the group that I trusted, was back at Auburn or in Spain, and I think I just wasn't mentally ready. So I actually remember calling my dad the phone, almost crying, saying I don't think I'm ready for this. There's nothing wrong with Virginia Tech. It's just me. I need some time off, and I need to be with you guys and decide what I want to do instead of just following one person. Because that's what I was doing. I was following Sergio. I wasn't really following my own path.
You do that, and you're following Sergio, not following your own path, which is amazing for you to reflect on that. But in 5 days, or in less than 2 weeks, as I read, you were at Cal. So how did you make, you're not ready for a transition, but immediately you transferred again? Why Cal? How did that happen?
Yeah, so all this was the beginning of fall fall 2018.
18, yeah. So fall
Yeah.
2018. Are we talking like August?
Yes.
Oh, so
Yes.
this was late.
Yes.
Oh, where?
Yeah. So the main reason why this happened in 5 days is because before going to Virginia Tech to follow with Sergio, I actually had a call with Dave Jordan, and that was like when I withdraw from Melbourne and I had no idea where to go. I was still in Spain, right? It was like everything legal. I was just out of the U.S. system. So I talked to him, and one thing he told me before the school started and everything of the legal period of the NCAA rules is that once a school starts, you cannot contact any other coaches. It doesn't matter if you're friends or not. It doesn't matter the purpose of the call. You just cannot talk. So when I realized that, I was like, okay, then I don't wanna give Virginia Tech a call. I just wanna head back home, think about what I wanna do. This is Virginia Tech. I'll go there in the spring, and if not, I just stay here. So I rushed that decision of going back to Spain, and I still had that thought back in my mind of like talking to Dave Jordan about joining the Cal program, but I didn't really reflect on that. It was just like a general thought, right? So I went back to Spain after almost crying, calling my dad about what I wanted to do, and I think a few months later I decided that I wanted Cal, and that was a long decision, and I really can't thank enough my ex, because I was just gonna stay in Spain, and she told me that why wouldn't I take the opportunity of being in one of the best schools in the world, because it's not just the United States, it's one of the best schools in the world, and learn from the best athletes and the best students in the world, and just pursue my dream. If it fails, well, I try it. And if not, I just get the best future possible.
Wow.
So she convinced me after really long talks. She convinced me to like come here, and that's why I talked to my parents, and that's when I withdrew from Virginia Tech, not knowing if Dave Jordan was still offering me that scholarship, right? Because it was an opportunity that maybe it was gone. Maybe it was ready before the fall, and maybe it was gone because new transfers, new freshmen were joining the team, and I think I just had the lack of my life, or like him saying, okay, well, we will still have that offer, and I'll still want you in the team. So that's when he told me, okay, we can make this work. You can come here, and this is gonna happen in January 2019. Sorry.
Wow.
So we can make this happen in the spring, even though all this happened, even though you say no the first time, even though you went to Virginia Tech, even though you say no the second time.
Wow. Okay.
And then I go here.
I usually, so I do my research, I take a lot of notes, so I'm usually like expecting what's gonna happen. I am blown away right now. Like this is genuinely fun for me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm blown away. Like I did not know all of these things went into it. I thought it like, because the thing I read said, oh, in 2 weeks it changed from Virginia Tech to Cal, and I'm like, all right, there must have been confusion. I didn't know it was this long. Obviously, I'm not going to find any articles about your ex-girlfriend telling you anything like that. So these little details are insane. Like, that's crazy. So let me put a timeline on this, right?
Yeah.
August 2018, you're at Virginia Tech. You're there for 3 days off campus, 2 days on campus, and then you fly back to Spain?
Yes.
You go back to Spain and you're there how long?
I'm there until January.
And in that entire time, you were not in the U.S. for college. You were back home in Madrid.
Yeah.
And
But the thing is that I was in Virginia Tech the day the school started. So that semester counted as a whole semester towards my NCAA eligibility.
yeah.
So that the clock is still running.
Okay, so you did start school and then you dropped out of school.
Yeah.
After 1 day.
Yeah.
So you dropped out of college 1 day into the semester.
Yes. So that's why I told you, I officially I was in school, but I didn't go to class.
This is crazy. Okay, wow. And I mean, right now it could be funny looking back at it, but in the moment that must have been so stressful.
In the moment, it wasn't fun. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. I mean, I'm glad we're talking about this now as a 2-time Olympian and NCAA champion.
Yeah.
Like now it's fun. Now it's beautiful, right?
We can talk about it all day. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break in here, and I'm going to be completely honest. This is the most fun I've ever had on the podcast, so
great.
Awesome. Tell me, like, what was going through your mind those months? You mentioned your ex. I've never heard someone say thank you to your ex, and I'm not trying to get into your personal relationship. I hate doing that, but having someone believe in you in that way, especially in, like, that sort of long-distance relationship or whatever, is crazy. Like, do you think you could have done it without that extra little push?
No.
Wow.
No. That's why. I mean, I don't know what people deal with a lot of stuff, right? I cannot even compare my life to anybody else. There's always gonna be somebody that's struggling more than you, and there is always gonna be somebody that's doing better than you. But in that moment, I have my siblings. I have 2 siblings, not just one. I have my brother, my sister, have plenty of relatives and friends that support me. And I'm not saying that I didn't need them, but at that moment, like the only person that made me believe in myself and that pushed me to like actually believe in myself, because it's not just somebody telling you like, you can do this. It's actually somebody that convinced me to know that I can do this. I can go Cal. I can get a degree and figure out my life 4 years after all this is happening. And yeah, that's part of the reason I really cannot thank enough. My ex her name is Marta Cano. She goes to Rice. She actually just graduated right now, and she's doing great. And I'm so happy for her. But she was the person that basically, like, I wouldn't be here, and it's not just a way of saying I literally wouldn't be here if I wasn't with her back then.
Wow. Wow, that is so powerful. That's crazy. Well, I'm glad you got here, and I'm glad it's working out, because, like, you describing this, like, I'm trying to still picture myself in your shoes, and I can't, bro. Like, you went to 3 different schools in the span of a year?
Yeah, in the span of a year.
Wow.
And it gets crazy. Like, I'm gonna leave you to the next questions, because I'm sure you have them. It gets crazy. It gets crazier.
Well, let's dive deep into it. So you get to Cal when? January
2019.
Okay.
First time I meet the team. It's not actually at Cal. It's at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado.
Yeah.
So I meet them at OTC. I stayed there for like 2 weeks and a half, and then we head back to Berkeley.
And did you know you were gonna redshirt?
No.
Oh,
no.
Shit.
No, I thought that, okay, season 2. I've been through Melbourne, I've been through Virginia Tech, let's make it count, right? Because I really wanted to, like, finally have a decent schedule, a different, finally a calendar that I could follow. I could know when I'm competing, I could know when I'm training, I could know when I have days off, and I can just, have not a stressful life. So I got there thinking, okay, we'll start school in a week. Okay, time to pack everything. At that time, I knew already how to get a bed, a pillow, and what was best, what was not. So it was time to start the new journey at Cal.
Time out. Details. So where did you fly straight to Colorado and then you flew to Berkeley?
Straight to Colorado.
So you had all your luggage in Colorado.
Yes.
Holy shit, dude. Okay, and you're in Colorado, and Colorado's not an easy place to train at. The Olympic Training Center's altitude is insane.
Yeah.
New team, you don't know anyone. Obviously, it's a great bonding experience, but it's hard to make friends as a sophomore, right? Not as a freshman or as a transfer. This is a team that's very united. They're a great team. We'll talk about what happens with that team in the next few months, right? And you show up to the training center halfway through their season. What was that like with the guys? with all your luggage just being lost? Were you lost? Were they helpful at, like, in Auburn, or were these guys? You're now teammates, right?
Yeah.
You're brothers, but were they assholes at first or no?
No, they were amazing.
Okay, that's good.
I think my first roommates were Bryce Merford and Andrew Salescar.
Okay.
You know, they're good people.
Yeah.
Apart for like fast swimmers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the second guy. I don't know Bryce either, but I've seen him in Marcos's videos and Kyle's videos, so he seems really nice. But
yeah, he's a great friend. And I'm really lucky. I was roommates with them too.
Okay.
But if I had to describe everything I went through at OTC before even being at Berkeley, in one word, it would just be wow. It'd just be wow. Yeah. Because it wasn't just joining the team. I was so out of shape at that moment, and that's normally not a big deal because we are athletes. Like we normally in shape at certain times, and over the summer we're normally out of shape right before starting the season. The problem with that and with me is that I was joining Cal. I was coming to Cal as a potential NCAA winner, right? Because I joined Auburn, and I by the time I finished my Auburn year, I already had the third fastest performance in the 4IM. So when I joined Cal, when I had the call with Dave, he asked me what my goals were. And, apart from, making this team better, helping everybody out, and learning from the best, I remember one of the goals that I told him was maybe breaking an NCAA record.
No way. No way.
Breaking an NCAA record and making an international podium in a high-level meet, like a Europeans or Worlds or even Olympics, is one of my goals. I get to the point where I'm coming from Christmas. I'm not training. I have a week off. I get to OTC, one of the hardest places to train, and I'm just swimming so slow. I think the first practice I did a 5-minute swim, and I get out. I was like, I'm done today.
You got out of the pool.
Yeah.
You got out of Dave Jordan's pool.
Yeah.
What did he say?
He understood everything. He knew I wasn't training.
Okay.
But
okay.
that's not what you want to show to the new team that just arrived. You don't want to show them that I'm still looking for those goals, but I'm just gonna be swimming 5 minutes a day. You don't want to do that.
Wow.
And all of that. I mean, it got better. Obviously, I'm a senior year now. They know how hard I work. I know how hard they work, and we understand each other. But just the embarrassment of showing to the possibly one of the best teams, not just in the United States but in the world, and being even able to make a 30-minute swim is just
yeah.
Yeah, I don't even have words to describe it.
So you show up there. The altitude is difficult. How different was the training to what you saw in Auburn? Obviously, you took a semester off. There's Christmas. There's some fun parties, right? I can relate to that in the sense of the Mexican culture and the Spanish culture. It's pretty similar. So obviously, it's a good time. We'll leave it at that. But with the training that you did know at Auburn or what you were doing in Madrid, just the OTC alone is already a difficult place to train. But how difficult was it training for what you mentioned to be a great coach like Dave Jordan?
Well, I don't think I can speak from what I saw in terms of practice because I wasn't even completing the practices with them. But not, it wasn't because I couldn't do it. It was just because I was out of shape, so I didn't really know what was the level of training at Berkeley at that time. But I remember one day, we normally, swimmers, we normally swim really fast on the important meets. And the rest of our season is super slow compared to how fast we can swim in our best moment. So during the training camp, there's one day that they tell the guys to put the tech suit on, which is the ones that we race on. Yeah. And we had this thing called get out swim, which means that if the coach tells you what to do in a random event, it can be a 50 underwater, which isn't even an event, just complete the distance, just with no breath. And we had a get out swim day, which was around probably 8 people, every single guy having a different kind of event, putting texture on and hitting in a specific time, right? That was like a middle training camp. I knew they were all tired. I was tired too. Like, I'm just not gonna lie. And just hearing the times that they have to go, like some of them were just like probably a second away from my best time. I was like, okay, even if I'm in the best moment at that time, but let's talk about 100 back, for example. That moment, I think I was at 54.1, my best in the long course. Even if I'm in the best shape as possible, as far as like until that day, if I'm told to go for 100 back in the same day and I just screw something, I just take like a less kick, or like I screw the turn or the start, or something happens, I'm gonna add a second to my best time. So if Dave is telling these guys to go 55, which is only a second away from my best time, that means that these guys are really assuming really fast in practice. I'm not gonna be able to keep up with these guys. Like, not even just now, but throughout the whole 4 years, unless I get to the times where I can actually have my goals and achieve my goals. So it wasn't the training that was hard; it was the expectations of wondering, am I gonna fit into this team?
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's special, and it's something very similar. Bjorn came here in the fall, and he talked about the same thing. Like, when he showed up, he was telling me how he called his mom right after, and he's like, "Mom, I'm going home," because he was the slowest guy there.
Yeah.
Obviously, now he's like one of the fastest guys on the team in the nation. But it's crazy that he said the exact same thing, and that you were there. And the reason I bring that up is because the level you're both at now is ridiculous, and that comes from just who you surround yourself with in a way. But it's important to realize that how uncomfortable it is at first.
Yeah.
It's not fun being last at first, or struggling that much at first, right? But you persisted, and you stayed in there, and you kept going because you believed in your dream, or you wanted to chase it, and look where you are now, right? So it's that moment of being uncomfortable, of then reaching your journey. I have a phrase here that I say almost every single podcast: study the greats to one day become one. But there's an add-on to that, and it's surround yourself with the greats, and you'll become one of the greatest.
That's such a great saying.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best sayings I've ever had. Because that's like, I don't think, I believe in myself after the whole talk with Marta, but the thing that really make me believe in myself it wasn't that I knew what I was doing. It was that, okay, I'm gonna be with these guys because they know what they're doing, so I'm gonna be with them as much time as I can. I'm gonna try to keep up with every single event, every single lap, every single training that they do, so I can be like them. Once I'm like them, I'll have confidence. I'll be confident enough to like achieve my goals.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really saying like, okay, I know I can do this. I was probably saying like, I know I can be part of them.
Wow.
So like, sometimes like people ask you, who are your idols? And like, they came out with great names. I don't have those great names. My great names are my teammates.
Wow. Okay. So the reason I came up with the phrase of study the greats to one day become one, which I've seen other people have said it. I didn't know other people had said it before, so I'm not going to claim I invented it. But the point is that the reason I started saying this phrase so much is because of the reason I started this podcast. And that is because I think that there are the greats in the world. When someone tells you study the greats, immediately you're going to start thinking Sergio Lopez, Michael Phelps, Caleb Dressel, right? But I think that the beauty is in realizing that the greats are around us. If you notice in my podcast, every single episode is, this week I'm celebrating the great and then the name. This week I'm celebrating the great Hugo González, right? Because I believe that the greats are here around us, and it's in any sport, right? But just being at Cal, you have to have something incredible, and I think that that's the key. It's realizing that, yes, there's amazing names that you can Google, millions of followers on social media, out of this world, but I think that the important thing is realizing the greatness of those around us and how much we can learn from them. So you saying that is just so powerful, and it's like who you choose to hang out with, right? I don't personally believe that you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with, but when it comes to training, when it comes to whatever your craft is, whether it's swimming, whether it's computer science, whether it's Spanish and Portuguese, whether it's vlogging, whether it's podcasting, whatever, right? If you surround yourself with them, and you suck at first, you're gonna be forced to elevate your game to be able to hang out with them.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that was the case, right?
Yeah.
So take me through that transition. OTC is tough. You come back to Berkeley. The moving in process. Where did you live? Who did you live with? When did you realize? You know what? First those, and then we'll continue the story.
So yeah, we finished OTC, right? We head back to Berkeley. I think my first roommates were Ryan Hofford and Ethan Young. They're all great friends, great teammates too.
Talk about the greats, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan Hofford is not just as a regular swimmer.
Yeah.
but yeah, they were my friends, and the down kind of like the basement of the house, because we live in a house. It was like a 3-bedroom, and the downstairs, and there were like around 6 bedrooms upstairs. The upstairs class was the 5th year class now. Plus, a few guys that are not in the team anymore, like Jared, but it was like DC, Trenton Julian, Sean Grisham, Nate, Biondi, Daniel Carr. I'm probably missing some people, but that was probably the main group that I was hanging out with at home. Other than that, I think the first thing I copied from them was I saw them all running e-bikes or just scooters to train, and that was when I got one. But it was fun. It was really fun to have them. I don't think they know how much they helped me to get used to the new environment, how Berkeley works, and I'm just so glad that some of them decided to take a 5th year, because it was great to have them in the team this year.
Yeah.
And I feel like they really deserve what we accomplished this year.
Yeah. I mean, I know a few of those names for sure, and someday I'd love to get them on the podcast. Unfortunately, I couldn't, but guys like Trenton, guys like Daniel that you mentioned, again, I don't really know your team that much, but I was at every meet because I'm a big fan of your team and what you guys are about, and just you can just see it from outside, right? Like the leadership that they carry and who they're about, and their characters, just very admirable from an outside point of view. Again, I don't know them, but just seeing that from outside is special for sure. So that's good. You move in, it works out.
Yeah.
What happens with school? Because there's a shift there, and you talked about taking academics a bit more seriously, but computer science leaves. And then you go into season. When do you find out you're not going to be competing?
Oh man, this is a hell of a journey.
Oh my God.
So how we keep having dual meets throughout the season. They start in the fall. We have a few of them in the spring. Then our most important competition is the Pac-12 conference, and then NCAAs. So I keep training with everybody. Everything feels normal. Just okay, I move in with the guys. I'm training with the guys. I'm going to class. Then the first meet, I don't remember which day it was, but we have a first dual meet. For me, first dual meet. We get this normally we get the 2 days before the meet, kind of easy, so we are not as tired, and we can swim a little bit better than we would normally do if we had any rest. The day before, I think the guys had the morning off, just so they can sleep in, get some extra rest, and they come to me and say okay, Hugo, you're not having the morning off. You're training with the pros. I'm like, okay, I'm not even gonna ask questions, because I just got there. There's no reason to ask questions. Whatever they say, I'll do it. I finish the practice, and then they come and up to me and says, well, the reason why you train with the pros today is because you're not racing tomorrow. We're still trying to figure out what's going on, but the NCAA rules are saying that you cannot compete just yet. So we're gonna keep working on this. We have time. It's like, okay. Weeks passed. We get to the next dual meet. Kind of the same thing happens. I'm still training like normal, not extra rest, no sleeping, no anything. Okay, no problem. We still have time, right? Next, our last dual meet. When we celebrate our seniors for everything they've done for the program, we thank The parents were coming to our home pool just to cheer for us and all the fans. Same thing happens. And then that's where I'm starting thinking, like, okay, that means like if I'm not competing at this 12 meet, I only have 2 meets left. It's conference and NC2As. For conference, it's fine. We can take as many people as we want. For NC2As, we have to qualify. It's not just you can show up and race. You need to show that you're fast.
Yeah.
The issue with this is that, what happens if something happens at Pac-12? What happens if I get disqualified in one event? What happens if I get sick in the middle of the conference? What happens? So many things can happen, right? So it's fine. We keep working. We keep. It's not a big deal because the only thing that we're changing at that point is the 2 days before every single 12 meet. But conference is different. Conference, we usually take a week or more of rest. We start having shorter practices that are not as intense. Our body is ready to race. And, I keep doing everything. So I'm thinking, okay, then maybe we solve this. I'm training with the guys. The pros are doing everything as normal. We are training less on them because we're racing. And then the day before, we get our suits, we get our gear, we get our new shoes, we get new everything. And we are sent the itinerary for the next couple of days to race at Pac-12s. So I'm okay, Dave. I go ask him, Dave, so am I good to compete? And he goes, well, not just yet, but we're gonna be prepared in case you are. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. First of all, if I'm ready to race, then why would I be thinking about this? But that's okay. I head home. I pack everything. I tell my professors that I'm gonna be gone, so or they can send me the assignments in advance, or they can give me an extension for a tournament later. And we head to the Haas Pavilion to get breakfast as a team, and then travel to the airport, take a flight, and head there. And I have breakfast and everything. Then at some point, Dave calls me while I'm with the guys to tell me that I am, in private, apart from the guys, and I am not gonna be traveling. I'm just gonna bring my suitcase, bring it home, and just keep training for my summer goals. And that's huge, because that doesn't mean you're not competing next week. That means you're not competing next week. You're not going to NC2As. You're done for this season in college.
Yeah.
If you want to keep training, that's up to you. But this season is over.
Wow.
And we have a really powerful team that year, and I don't think I was aware of it until I saw it, but we have a team at that moment that we thought could fight for the title. And, it's not just that I could be watching these guys, it's that I could be racing with these guys for the title. Or even, racing for my own individual titles, right? And that, I think that was the perfect recipe for me to, just give up on swimming, at least for that year. And that's what kind of happens.
You gave up?
Yeah. After I was told I'm not racing. College season is not gonna happen this year. If it happens, it's gonna be in 2020. So I was like, okay. I sent all the hack everybody saying good luck. You guys got it. It doesn't matter if I'm going or not. You guys are gonna keep fighting for the title, and just bring it home. Because I'm still training with you guys, and if you guys can do this, you guys don't need me. I'm just gonna give extra points to the team, but I'm not an essential key, and that's what they did. And I'm so glad that they raced the way they raced. I think Sally Scar won all his 3 individual events and participated in so many relays that I was so proud of them. That it was just great to see them from Berkeley.
That's crazy, and I can see in your eyes how tough it is. That part of your story, but. Wow, I didn't know it was like that. I feel like you would have known since before that you were gonna redshirt.
Yeah, we get kind of pushing it back, saying we got this, we'll figure it out. We'll talk to compliance, we will get this paperwork done. And we delayed that until the very last day of like 11.12.
Wow. Okay, so take me through what that does to your confidence. Do you continue training? I have here in my notes, obviously, 2016, Rio.
Yeah.
You qualified. Huge. 2016, European Junior Championships. 2017, Junior Worlds. 2017, Worlds. 2018, FINA. 2018, FINA World Cup, short course champions, etc. Nothing in 2019. I don't know if there was no events or if you decided to take time off. 2019 was that same year, so that's why I'm asking what it does to your confidence.
2019, I'm not even sure if I went to Worlds. I think there was Worlds that year. I don't even know if I went or not. I think I went, but still, like, I wasn't. If I went, it was for vacation, honestly. Like, I wasn't, or at least in my mindset, like I was telling my teammates, I was telling my coach back home, yeah, I'm going to race. Doesn't matter if I didn't make the college season. But I wasn't. I was just going because I had to go, because they selected the team. I was part of the national team, and they told me to go. But I don't think I was ready to race. And that showed. I think I swam slower than when I was 16 years old. And by that time, I was like 19. Yeah. It's huge coming from like 3 years in swimming, especially when I'm just like junior in high school, coming from like a freshman or sophomore in college is huge. So that was just a really, really tough time in terms of like there were times that I was training with the guys after NCAAs. It's still a cow before heading back home, and there were so many days that I was swimming the pool and just like hating it, just saying like I don't want to do this, and it's not because I'm swimming slow. It's just because I don't want to be here. And I told my coaches, and like they try to help me, but I really think that I gave up on swimming that year, and the only thing that I wanted to do is just like get back home, enjoy vacation, be with my family and everything, and just restart and have a restarted account for my next year.
How did you deal with that? Because like from the things you're saying right now, I feel like in one way or another, every athlete or student athlete can relate to it for whatever reason that may be. But I think it's very obvious nowadays how much mental health is an issue, right, for D1 athletes. And I think everyone has experienced it. I've experienced it. I've had days here where I absolutely hated it. And like honestly, the majority of my time here, I've hated practice. Straight up. Like I've struggled with it so much. Like freshman year, I didn't get up any day. And I got up early, first one there. I'd stay there working. I hated every second of it. Like, and I love soccer. Like, you don't understand how much I love this game. I hated every second of training. I did not feel comfortable with my team. Freshman year was a nightmare for me, and same thing. Like, I'm personally very open about this. I did work with psychologists. I did get into all the advice I could get and try to put it to work. I wanted to go back home so bad. It's very hard to say this, but thankfully for me, my freshman year was when COVID hit. So I just went back home and like stayed with my family and all this thing. It worked for me. But for you, again, you go through that downfall. That's the year that you guys win a national championship. Yeah. That must be very tough because it's like, damn, I could have been there. Damn, I'm training with them. Like, I could be there. So how do you bounce back from this? Was it with your family that summer? Did you work with any psychologists or professionals, or what did you do to get back?
If I'm honest with you, I think I should have worked with a psychologist or a professional to help me understand what is going on and why I wasn't motivated to swim and how I could change that. Because it's not when a lot of people say I don't wanna do this, I don't wanna show up to practice. That doesn't mean they don't like doing their sport. They mean that they don't wanna be there at that moment, and that's what I felt every single day when I was training, with the guys after the NCAA title. While I couldn't do anything, it was that I didn't. every time I say I didn't want to swim, what I actually meant is I don't want to swim now, and if that repeats tomorrow, same thing. But that doesn't mean I don't like swimming. Like, if I'm here, it's because I had to like something, right? So after that, I feel like it was actually good that I performed really, really bad at World Championships, because that kind of took a lot of pressure out of the way I look at swimming. Coming from one of the fastest swimmers in the 4IM from Melbourne, going to Cal, which is like a really good program in swimming, almost meant that I was gonna be even faster. Like, it looked like getting an NCAA title wasn't gonna be a goal. It was gonna be part of what was waiting for me. And like, having that bad of a season just made me realize, okay, I don't have to do this, right? Like, I don't have to meet any expectations that people are putting to myself. I put those expectations on my career, and if I want to complete, and if I want to get them, that's fine. If I don't want to, that's fine too. So I think that when I went back to home, I realized that if I was at the Cal team, or if I was going to be a Cal team for the next 2 years, it's because I wanted to be there. It's not because somebody told me, okay, you had to go here because you are a fast swimmer and they are a fast program, and you guys match. No, that's not the reason. So I feel like it was good to just not swim fast, to realize like, okay, swimming fast is not part of what I'm supposed to do. It's something I want to do, and just being with my family and realizing that helped me a lot, and that kind of set the tone for the next years.
Yeah. And I think that's the key. That's the key distinction, right? It's having that mentality shift of, I don't have to, I get to. I don't have to swim at the best program in the nation. I get to. And if I don't want to, that's okay. But if I do, I get to, and that's a privilege. I don't have to go through finals week at the #1 public university in the world. I get to. It's a privilege. And if I don't want to, that's okay.
Yeah.
And once you understand that life is a game, then get up and play, or life is a party, get up and dance, like, it relieves so much. And that's something I've barely realized up until right now. And it's so recent that I haven't even been able to put it to practice. But hearing you say that and seeing your success afterwards is only inspiring for someone that struggled the same way I have, So that's awesome. You get into that shift. You understand it now. Mm-hmm. You come back, fall 2019. What happens? What changes?
I feel like everything. I stopped comparing myself into the other swimmers. They're all fast swimmers. But something different about me is that I normally don't train as fast as I can race compared to the other guys. Yeah. Normally, you're gonna find so many people that can swim faster than me in practice, but the story changed once we get to the actual competition.
You're able to flip that switch in your own mentality and how you attack.
Yeah. And that's that's great once we get to the actual important meet, once we get to NCAAs, once we get to the Olympic Games, once we get to the World Championships. But that's not easy to deal with once you're every single guy getting beaten, being beaten by your teammates. It's it gets to the point where you start wondering why is this not working? And you have to convince yourself, yeah, it is working. They have a way of training. You have your own way of training. It doesn't matter. It's just trust the process. The process of showing up to practice and doing the best you can do, not in terms of effort, in terms of everything, in terms of technique, in terms of attitude, in terms of the way you perform every single movement, is what's gonna make you better. Because at the end of the day, you don't care about what people are doing. You care about how much you've improved to yourself. And going into the 2020 season, I had a great start. I was swimming just by having the opportunity to race at dual meets, which is great. Then we got to the conference meet. I think I broke a conference record in the 4IM. So I was getting that confidence back, saying, okay, I can do this. This is looking good. We have NCAAs really soon. So it's just time to enjoy the grind that we've been putting. Not just me, but new teammates, because we have the freshmen, the seniors are leaving. And then COVID hits.
Oh, that's the part of every single episode that I hate because we were doing so well, things were going great, and then COVID hits. And it's like, damn, like the episode I released this week with Nevaeh D'Souza, she's a junior on the women's gymnastics team. She was Pac-12 Freshman of the Year. She had a great season. She had hit every single event for 10 straight meets, getting ready for a dual, like 2 meets in 1 weekend, then Pac-12 championships. They're getting ready. And then COVID hits, and it's like, damn, like, not again.
Oh, man.
And it's crazy because what you said, it wasn't actually the 200 IM. Your record was in the 4 IM. You said a Pac-12 championship meet record, 400 IM, and that was the nation's fastest time that year. You were ready for that NCAA, not debut, but comeback.
Yeah.
And then COVID hits. Yeah. Oh, my God.
It's so crazy that it feels like everything, like, it's not, it doesn't affect just the swimming community. It affects every single sport, especially the spring sports, because we are just about to, like, get started, and then everything disappears. It's like, everything is gone. You're not an athlete anymore. Just locked down.
Wow.
Stay in your room and just get there. Yeah.
Yeah, but before that, I liked what you said of your own lane. You know, the reason I'm so obsessed with swimming, and I'll say it openly, right? I love watching you guys. I love watching the men's swimming team, the women's swimming team, because I feel like your mentality is different, right? You're two of the best programs that we have here at Cal, but it's not only that. I think it's the sport. It's the same reason why I like to even watch track, especially long distance, which is like, oh, that's pretty boring. But for me, at least participating in it in some way is a game changer. You know, like, I would question many things. Earlier this season, I was watching you guys and I see your coaches, go, go. And I'm like, well, of course they know to go. Why are they yelling? A few weeks later, I ran the Berkeley half marathon and people there on the side just ringing the bell, go, go, go. I was like, damn, it makes a huge difference to have people there. Or you guys, like what you mentioned of paying attention only to yourself. The reason I like swimming so much is because to me it's a metaphor. In soccer, we don't have that individualistic aspect, but what you guys have, it's a literal lane. So in my head, it's just stay in your own lane. Just focus on your own lane. And when I was running that half marathon, there were people next to me running, and they were faster or they were slower, but I'm like, I'm just looking at this time right here. That's it. Yeah. I'm not focused on them. I'm focused on this time right here. And that to me is amazing. One of my favorite pictures is, I don't know who the competitor is, but it's that one Michael Phelps picture that says, winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. And it's like just, yeah. So that's literally why I enjoy watching the sport so much, because to me, it's a metaphor of what it should be like in life. Because in soccer, we don't get that. In soccer, it's a team sport, it's collectively, but it's taught me, like, you know what, you can focus on your performance as well. You shouldn't be focused on if you're starting, if you're on the bench, if you get minutes, if you don't get minutes. Focus on yourself. Oh, this guy played this way. Hey, stay in your own lane, you know? And that's why I like it so much. And from what you were saying, I think it's special that you realize that. Your confidence is better. How did you feel with the team before COVID? Your fastest time in the nation. How are you feeling now? You're clearly fit now with the team. And like what you were mentioning, I'm not sure if this is your taper process, but you're saying that in practice you're not as fast as other guys, but when it comes to competing, you turn the jets on. So how was that with the team? When did they start understanding that? Did the coaches understand that? Did you feel comfortable with them? How was that like?
Well, I feel like the coaches always had an unbelievable trust on the way I did things, and that was really surprising, because I there were moments where I would actually, finish the practice and tell the coaches, I think I'm not ready. I think I'm not gonna be able to perform as well as you, and I want this to happen, and the senses of the thing that they would keep telling me is just have confidence. It's okay. You don't need to win in situation right now. It's not gonna happen today because we're training. We are here at Berkeley. That's all. They didn't say that. That's what I would think every time they say these words. Like, just believe in your teammates. Believe in yourself. We're doing well. And after I still had no idea about rankings. I was just racing because that was what I would do. I would just head to the main competition and had the goal of making finals, and after making finals, race for the win. But that's it. I had no idea what other schools were doing, what other swimmers were doing outside of the Pac-12 conference. And funny things that the commentator actually speaks, and we can actually hear what they say after we race because we have an interview or something. So I finished the race, and I had this little interview saying like, congrats for winning the race, congrats for breaking the Pac-12 conference meet record, and congrats for posting the fastest time in the nation. Like, okay, so I didn't react at the moment, right? Because I'm just tired. It's easy to let it happen. But then I head to the bench, get to warm down, get to the hotel, and it was so hard to fall asleep that night. Because I'm just thinking like, damn, like, does this really mean that I might actually win, in the span of 3 weeks, the NCAA title? So that, I feel like it was so hard for me to control my emotions after that. Swimming was fine as the results were there. The hardest part was, okay, it's time to sleep because it's not even the last day. 4 a.m. is the middle day. I still have one more event the last day, which is 2 breaths or 2 back. And I think I remember I slept 3 hours. And that was the max I could get in between the caffeine that I took to race and the emotions after that. It was just so hard. But as you said, the conference was building up. We just won the year before. I wasn't even there. So all the exciting about, being able to swim fast, being able to trust the process, and being actually able to be part of what I missed the year before, which is, it was just every day, which is getting better and better in the pool. And then, my bad.
You're good.
Yeah, and then I remember I was working at the RSF just to get some extra money, helping out the customers. And then we get the wait, sorry.
Yeah. We'll take a break.
Grab some water.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll get you water.
No, I actually got water here.
Oh, you got water?
Yeah.
Okay, you good?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take a break. No worries.
We've been talking for a lot of time.
Yeah. I was starting to feel it too, so don't worry. And you can drink water whenever you want. You're good.
But yeah, it was crazy. All the years is crazy.
Yeah, I was not expecting this, so I'm excited. But yeah, it adds up for me too. 3 days in a row, I started to feel it too.
I don't know how you do it, man. I'm already struggling here.
Yeah, no, but yeah, whenever you want to be drinking water, even during, you can have it
No, I just have it here.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay. If you ever need a break, just let me know. Let's see. All right, and we are back after a bit of a technical break. Yeah. But you were saying that you were working in RSF with the customers to make a little extra money.
Yeah.
And what happened there?
And then, so I was actually working with a teammate. And then, all this, these people, this staff working with me started saying, what is going to happen? Because we got the COVID news, but we didn't know that school was going to get canceled, that work was going to be canceled, that it was going to be in lockdown. So everybody was worried about, going home, getting paid, managing all their life. And so I finished my shift. It was at 3 p.m. I think. I head back home, and I just remember social media going crazy about all these news, about all these sports being canceled, and then I started wondering, wait, is this actually affecting the college season? Is this affecting the U.S.? Because this was happening in Asia, right? So we didn't know how much it was gonna spread around the world. And then the hours keep passing as they were like, I don't know, for some reason that day felt so long, just reading all the messages from people, social media, news, and so we finally get the message of saying like, okay, the season is over, and not just the season is over, school is over, everything is over. We are gonna be in lockdown.
Wow.
And it was, I don't think I had time, enough time to reflect on, okay, this is like a global pandemic. I think I have enough time to just like head back home, here in Berkeley, and just start figuring out if the school is gonna be online or not, or what to do in my classes and my practices. But that's it.
Wait, so where were you when you got the news?
I was still here in Berkeley.
Oh, so you were here in
Yeah,
Berkeley.
we had
okay.
like a week left before heading to the NCAAs.
Wow. Okay. Real quick, do you mind getting a bit closer
Yeah.
to the mic? Can you see yourself in the?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. I was just checking here, but all good. You're good.
Okay.
There. Okay, so you were in Berkeley. You get the news. Everything's going that way. Things went amazing. Pac-12, etc. Once we don't have to make it too dramatic because everybody knows what happens, right? Like the pandemic hits, school's online, everything's shut down. Cool. But what is interesting for me is you're an international student. Where did you go? Did you stay in Berkeley the entire time? Because I know there was some training, or back to Spain.
There was some training for a few days. And at that moment, I was still living, with Ryan Hoffer, Ethan Young, figuring out what I was gonna do next year, because some of them were graduating. And by that time, Marcos Rico was already here, and I don't think he doesn't deserve to be my best friend yet at that moment. But I was really good friends with him, and I think his roommate left. He was at the dorms because he was a freshman.
Yeah.
So I was hanging out with him. He was a really close friend. I get him that. So I was hanging out with him. I think that day we had a practice. The day I'm talking about, we had practice on Saturday, so we were hanging out on Friday. And since his roommate left, like completely left, went home, everything was empty. So I told him, like, yo, like I might need to crash here tonight. Is that okay with you? He's like, yeah, of course. We're still talking about the COVID. Started talking about everything. We go to sleep. He wakes me up at 3 a.m. saying, yo, I just had a call with my dad. I'm heading back to Spain in 5 hours.
Holy shit.
And I, dude, but we have practice in 4 hours. Like, yeah, I know. I'm going to go swim and then go to the airport and leave.
Wow.
Like, okay, well, you're not doing this alone. I'm going with you.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Out of the blue.
Yeah. This is at 3 a.m. Like I was already sleeping, but like I don't know, like 2 hours sleeping.
So when Marcos wakes you up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
What was Marcos doing up, by the way?
I don't know. Probably figured this out.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how do you talk to your parents at any point?
No.
Did they know you were flying back?
No. No.
Dude, what?
No. He.
What made you trust in Marcos to say, you know what, you're not doing this alone, I'm going with you? Like, was the season canceled yet or no?
Yes.
Oh, so everything was done.
At this point, like everything was canceled. We knew it was like 2 weeks past the day that we were told that everything was gonna be in like.
And it was already online.
Yeah.
Quick question: why were you crashing with Marcos instead of like what happened in your apartment?
Oh, no, nothing really.
Oh, you were just crashing with him.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was just closer because I was hanging out at the dorms with him.
Yeah.
So instead of like heading back home, because it's like, I don't know, a 15-minute walk or 20-minute walk, it's just easy to stay there because we have practice the same day there.
Yeah, Blackwell. It was Blackwell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're just walking
super
across.
close to speaker. Yeah. But no, the thing is that this happened like 2 weeks after we were told that the NCAA season was going to be canceled. The school was going to be canceled, everything. So we have like a week or 2 weeks of just hanging in there, figuring out what's going to happen. And we started to get the news that the COVID was spreading around the world. we didn't know yet that it was gonna be that huge. But we saw so many countries, just telling people that they cannot leave the country or they cannot enter the country. Flights were being canceled. So I mean, I didn't tell my parents I was gonna take the flight, but I did have a talk with my parents saying like, I don't know if I should be going back home, staying here, and yeah. So like it was like 2 weeks after Marcus waking me up at 3 a.m. saying like, okay, remember how we talked about this? It's happening right now.
Wow. And so
Yeah.
how does the process of even buying the flight work? Like you're buying a flight, San Francisco to Spain in that's gonna
With
take
my
off in
phone.
5 hours.
Yeah.
But where do you get the money from? Like if you didn't communicate with your parents, like how does all of this logistically how does
Yeah.
this work?
Logistically, that happens. So I get out of the room to call my parents. Lucky enough, there are 9 hours of difference. They're ahead of us, so like they're fully awake. And I'll tell them, okay, Marcus is doing this. What should I do? And they go like, okay, you can. Honestly, whatever you want, but like, if you want to join him, that's fine with us. I'm like, okay, I'll call you back later. But when I send you the information about the flight.
Wow.
So we just do that. We had to practice. We head back to the room. We pack everything because we were just sleeping. We had no idea we were gonna leave. So we pack everything, put out all the clothes and luggage together, and we head to Madrid.
Wow. And in Madrid, I know things are closed in like pool wise and stuff. So
Well, 2 days after heading to Madrid, they announced that flights are not gonna happen anymore.
so you got
I got extremely lucky.
wow.
Yeah, and then I stayed in Madrid, until don't even remember how much time. I think well past till everything was fine, technically fine.
Yeah.
I think I stayed there until January of 2021.
Oh shit. So you weren't here in the fall at all?
No,
Wow.
wait, 2021.
No, I mean the year is 2021, but you weren't here in the fall?
No, maybe I'm saying it wrong. I have here. What was this? This is my third semester here. I know that.
Third semester, so one. Your third semester is when you got shut down.
January 2021, then, right?
Yeah, okay, so you get here January 2019. That was your first semester. Second semester, fall, August 2019. Third semester, spring 2020, COVID hits. You go back home, and it's either you're here in the fall, training with the small group, or you go into season in January 2021.
Yeah, I went into season straight up, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I said it right, yeah.
Throughout that time, what was training like? Did you have access to a pool? How was your fitness? How did that look?
So all of this happened in 2020. I didn't have a pool to train at until pretty much July 2020. So it was really hard. How many months is that? Around 5 months. It was really hard for the fact that swimming, having time off of swimming sucks because sometimes we don't even need to have a great cardio to swim fast. We just need to be around the pool, around the water, and getting those feelings. Because like the main difference between track and field and our sport is that even though we are still, the main goal is to like complete the distance the fastest time as possible, is that we cannot do that just by muscling our events. It's gotta look somehow relaxed.
It's
in
a
every
skill.
single movement.
Yeah, it's skills.
Yeah. So being 5 months away of swimming meant that it was gonna take way more than 5 months to get in shape.
Yeah, I've heard that if you take a day off, it takes 2 days to get back into it.
Yeah.
If you take 5 months off, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Wow. So you start in July. You're training July up until season in the pool you have access to. But what are those trainings looking like compared to how you were training at Cal?
Well, I actually text Dave saying like, I'm gonna stay here until like everything feels safe to travel. Because it's not just the fact that I could be here at Berkeley. It's the fact that flying with random people on the plane is not safe, especially like a 16-hour flight. So I told him that. He said that it was just not gonna work out to have a program that is running at Berkeley and saying those practices to me when I was in Spain. So I was just gonna stick with my Spanish coach in Spain until January and then make a switch, and hope that it's gonna work out.
Wow.
So
Did
we are lucky enough that it did work out.
Okay.
Yeah, we wouldn't say we were fully satisfied, but we did well.
Okay.
I think I didn't win that year. I didn't win the 4 but I did posted the fastest time of the meet in the B final.
Yeah.
I swam a little bit too slow in the morning.
Yeah.
I think I got second in the 200 IM and I got third in the 200 breast. It's like really good results, especially for the COVID season. The only thing that it was not what we were looking for is that we got second.
Yeah. Yeah, and a few steps back, were you rooming with Marcos that year, or who were you roommates with?
The year when I came back.
Yeah.
2020.
2021, January 2021, when you come back, COVID season, were you living with Hoff or with...
Yeah, no, that year, that was first semester I roomed with Marcos Rico.
With Marcos Rico?
Yeah.
He got COVID that semester.
He got COVID, I was with him. And he got sent by the trainer, I guess from the Cal swimming program. He got sent to a hotel to stay there for the 2 weeks that he got COVID.
And did you not...
Just so he cannot pass it to me.
Okay, so were you not together, or how did that work? Because back then, I remember that if you got COVID, your entire house had to be isolated.
Well, I got a test and I got negative.
Okay.
I think once or twice. So the reaction was like, okay, we just sending Marcus away. We're
Okay.
sending Marcus to the hotel for like until he gets better. And you keep testing, you keep training, not with the guys of the team, but I was actually training by myself. We had a assistant coach that was coming to look into my practices, not too close just in case. And it did work out.
Okay.
But the funny part is like knowing we were just talking, Marcus and me, and then he comes up to me saying like, okay, I'm gonna go to this hotel. It's like 5 minutes away, but I cannot be with you because you need to be in the team for Pac-12 conference meet.
Wow. And you go to the Pac-12s, obviously dual meets, it's a mess with everything going on. Like there is something, but it's difficult. And when you do go to Pac-12s, that story is actually another funny story that you have, right? You don't post a good time in the morning, and you go into the B final. What event was that?
That was the 4 IM.
Oh yeah, exactly.
NCAAs.
The IM. Wait, NCs or Pac-12s? I thought it was Pac-12s.
This was our NCs.
At NCs.
Pac-12s were fine.
Yeah.
I think I saw my second slower at that event, which is not a lot.
Okay. Yeah. And yeah, I mean the second is one turn, one
Yeah.
kick. Yeah. You're so Pac-12s go well. You guys won again. So that's fine. But that story specifically is very interesting to me. So you're at NCs 2 a.m. Or 4 a.m.
I raced both, but the one we're talking about is 4 IM.
Okay. So which is okay. This is a cool story, right? 2021 NCs. Your first NCs since 2018.
Yeah.
Wow.
Such a long time. It didn't even feel like it was normal. I felt like it's been so many years.
Yeah, because it's 3 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time. So you go 4 a.m. What do you consider that to be your strongest event?
Yeah.
Okay, so your strongest event, and in the morning, you don't swim as fast as you want to. You go into the B final, you win the B final, and not only that, your time in the B final is better than the time in the A final, meaning you should have and could have won the national title in the 400 IM. Take me through that. What happened in the morning and how did you feel in the evening with that?
Okay, before I talked about this, I think it's important to know that even though the 400 IM is my strongest event in yards, is probably also one of the the events that I swim. Of course, there are milers and 200 fly, but from the events that I swim, that's the one that I hate the most.
Because of the distance?
Because the distance, because how hard it is, because how much it takes out of you.
Okay.
Every single time you race. So we head to this meet. It's still, one of my best events. I cannot just say, I'm not going to do it. So I race the day before 200 AM. It goes well. I get second. I go at PB, which means okay, it is looking like I have more speed than the previous years, which is looking good for the day that is going to happen the 4 AM. I get to the 4 AM. I think I was ready to race. Get out the blocks, dive in. I start swimming. First 100 feels good. Nothing too crazy, not too fast, but not too slow. It's still leading kind of my heat. I head to backstroke, and backstroke is one of my best strokes.
Yeah.
Yards, and I start seeing some people that shouldn't be faster than me passing me in backstroke. And that's just the second part of the race. It's fly, back, burst, and free. Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, I either start going really fast on breaststroke and freestyle, or is this just looking really bad? So I finish the backstroke leg, switch to breaststroke. I push from the wall, and I can just see that there are 3 people beating me that heat, and only 8 swimmers qualify for the A final, which means if you get 4th in just one heat, the chances of making the final are really low.
Yeah.
So I keep swimming the event, trying to switch it, try to gear up that final of the event, and for some reason I feel like it was probably mentally.
Yeah.
But I thought it was physically. It feels like I just cannot keep up with the guys. I start fading. I touch the wall. Don't even remember what time I went, but it was just not good enough. Head out the pool. We all see that me and my team and everybody sees in the board that we didn't make the final. And so many people came out to me saying, "Hey, dude, it's okay, no worries." And I tried through all this process. The only thing that was in my mind saying it was just, it's okay. I gave my best. It's okay. Don't worry. It's fine. I just get out the warm-up pool and race tonight. We'll race tomorrow. So the morning wasn't the hardest part. The hardest part was heading to the B final, wanting to, give my best shot because it was the last shot I had before I am. That didn't matter if I wasn't gonna make the A final. The hardest part was finishing that B final, looking at the board, and saying a 10-second drop or almost like that, and thinking, okay, what the hell? Okay, this is great. Don't get me wrong, but this means I shouldn't be here. This time I should have been in the A final. So it was just a moment of pause of starting thinking, why didn't I swim fast enough in the morning? Why didn't I put the work in? Why didn't I get prepared in the morning to do this? Because I just did it. The hardest part was supposed to be swimming fast. For me, it wasn't. It was a mental stage, being ready in the morning. Wow. And that was the hardest part, just getting out of the pool. And I remember just, don't know how many minutes I was just staying, looking at the times and saying, the 8th, posting at 3:30 something, 3:40 something, and saying my time being the fastest in the number 9th or number 10th. I was like, yeah.
That's insane. That's crazy. What was the reaction there I'm sure people were looking all over. How was the team reacting, the coaches, the people in the stands? I'm even sure somebody in the commentary said something what happened?
Well, we're lucky enough that we have 2 more swimmers swimming the final. So all my team was cheering for them. They were not looking at me, and the hardest part for me was just trying to cheer, try to celebrate because our swimmer got 3rd, which is really good. Yeah. And I just remember staying there, no movements, speechless, not saying a word, not moving, just looking at the board, the same way you when you when you get an exam, you don't know what to write. Well, same thing. Just looking at the board and saying, I don't know what to do right now. I don't know if I should go to the pool or head to the benches or head to the hotel. Like I had no idea what to do. It didn't feel real.
Wow.
Yeah. Then like after I felt like 3 minutes, which felt really long. I finally decided like, okay, this happened. It's okay. We're racing tomorrow. We're still fighting for the title. So just get over with it.
Yeah, I love that example of like when you get a test and you don't know. Anyways, what do you think went wrong in the morning? You mentioned like the process, but what do you think it was?
I think it was kind of overconfidence.
Okay.
Of thinking, okay, I swam really well 2 weeks before with way more training, not rested at all. It should be really easy now. Really easy now that we are actually focused on this meet, that we have more energy, that I just I'm swimming faster because it just showed the day before that I went faster in the shorter version of the IM, the 200 IM. And it wasn't overconfidence during the race. It was overconfidence in terms of like, I didn't work on enough. I don't think I took it seriously enough to say or to think, okay, this is gonna hurt, because every race is gonna hurt if you give you 100%. So I wasn't ready for the pain
In the warm up.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's how that season goes, and I would say let's go straight into the senior. But something happened that summer, right?
Yeah.
What happened in the summer? It looked like you forgot what happened that summer.
No.
2021, you went to Tokyo.
Yeah, 2021. It was just a hell of a summer.
Yeah.
I don't even think the best one was Tokyo.
Wow.
We had European Championships. I want to say like 2-3 months after NCAAs.
Yeah.
And
I remember that. It was like a year ago right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just remember not being able to perform as well as I wanted at NCs. Just kept the fire going for the rest of the season, and I actually swam sometimes that I thought I would never achieve in my life.
Wow. At Europeans.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Like I saw sometimes that like if I didn't hit, I was gonna be completely satisfied with my performance in swimming. Like I will retire without hitting those times. I will be like, fine, I did a great job.
Wow.
And that's the performance Europeans was the final proof of confidence to myself, of saying like, okay, I can go to Olympic Games and compete with people, not just to participate.
Yeah.
Because I mean, don't get me wrong, like being Olympian it's insane. It's not just being to Worlds, but what the team showed me after losing, to Texas that year and keep grinding for the summer after sorry.
You're good.
After accomplishing these times at Europeans, I think the word to describe it is just the fire of keep pushing to be the best at the Olympics. Is what has been dictating my career until now. And I still have that thought, like, right now I have Worlds in a span of like a few months or 1 month. You have Olympic Games in 2 years, and I don't think I will be looking into these goals that I have right now. We have the performance that I had in 2021.
Holy shit. So you don't think you can improve your times from last year?
That's part of it. Like, one of my goals are not making a final of the Olympics or placing third, placing second, or winning something. It's just being able to swim faster than last year. And that's it. Like, I'm not even comparing myself to anybody, like not breaking any records. Just like, my goal is to be able to swim faster than last year, because last year I hit some times that I thought I could never do.
Wow, okay, that is powerful. And again, it's why I like the sport so much, because you you don't have to compare yourself to other people, right? You can say, yeah, I could reach third, second, first, anytime, reach the final, etc. But for you to have the goal of just looking at your own time is ridiculous, right? Because the only person you're competing against is in your own lane. It's the guy in the mirror. It's who you have that you can control, right? You can control the effort, you don't control the result. And that is what you're doing right now with your own time, which is special. So is that what's continuing to drive you right now, just those times?
Yeah. And that's like, you know, it's a double edge. It's not as easy, like, you know, getting up in the mirror and saying, not visually, nothing has changed. Why would I be able to be faster than last year? But then you think about it again and you say, okay, nothing has changed. So it's really easy to like find something that I can change, make myself better, and be a better version of myself of last year. And you know, we are talking about swimming. We're not talking about a sport that takes like so many seconds. 1/10 is enough. If I drop 1/10 in one of my events, I'm happy. If I had 1/10, I'm not gonna be happy. And it's as simple as that.
That's insane.
And it's like you did 1/10. Like sometimes you can even stop that in the watch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it depends on how you look at it. You can look at it as, okay, it's really easy. It's just this difference, but it's not that easy. It's just that difference.
And it's insane because, like you said, it's one turn, it's one stroke, it is one kick that can make that difference. And we're talking about doing it on the biggest stage in the world that only comes around every 4 years. Like, because if you do that in the NCs, you're going to be extremely happy. But if you do that in Paris coming up, like, that's a different level, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it has happened. After Europeans, I had a meet. It's called Mare Nostrum. It was in Barcelona. It's an international meet. I actually swam, I think I swam faster than the European Championship record.
Wow.
Nobody cared.
Because it wasn't there.
Yeah. Not even me. I didn't care. It was like, this is great. It didn't happen when it had to happen. I think that time would have placed 6th or 5th of Olympics. Doesn't matter. It's not the right moment. So
Wow.
it's great to go back home and sleep at that time, but that's not what counts. And I'm assuming that this happens in a lot of different sports. Like, you know, you can, the sports that takes a lot of skills, like gymnastics, they can perform as great as they can in a practice. But if they're not, you don't score points with that.
Yeah, you could do it in practice, you could do it in season, you could do it in the semis of regionals or semis of nationals, but what counts is in that moment. Interesting enough, mentioning gymnastics, right, from last year, I think that, in the regional championship on bars, Nevaeh de Souza won. But at nationals, Maya Bordes was a national champion on bars. And it's the exact same event, two different people, two different events. And one goes down as a regional champion and the other goes down as a national champion. And it's the exact same movements. It's just different time, different placement, different judges. Yeah. And that just happened. So it's weird because in a way, you're making me understand this as success is when opportunity meets practice or meets preparation, right? I never see things this way because of how I live through soccer, through my perspective, my lens. But from your perspective, that is the case. It's when opportunity meets preparation, pretty much, right? Because obviously you have to be prepared. Yeah. But it's any given day that it could happen, or any given day that it won't. It's like what I'm doing right now on TikTok, which is funny, right? Like I take these podcasts and I just put them down into tiny clips. And to me, right now, I'm posting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 a day. I'm just posting because to me in my head, every single one is a lottery ticket, and any day it could hit. And right now, all right, first episode of that I started releasing again. It was it was when I was talking to you and Marcos at dinner. Yeah. I hadn't posted this clip yet. Oh yeah. 1, 2, okay. 100 views, 200, 500, 600, 10K. First one hits and I'm like, oh, yeah, fun. The week after that, posting, many a day. One of them wins the lottery. And that's Kyle Millis' episode. And right now it's at like, as of right now, when we're talking, I don't know where it will be when it's posted, but as of when we're talking, it's at 766,000. And that just blew up, and that's the lottery ticket, you know?
Oh my God, yeah.
Out of nowhere. And it's the same thing I'm doing right now with Nevea's episode 1, 2, 3, 4. And one of them is at 1K, 3K, 4K, and it's just lottery ticket, but it's the same thing you're saying.
Yeah, you have to keep trying. You cannot stop trying. That's the thing, yeah.
Wow.
And it's insane.
This is my favorite part right here. I was talking to another swimmer during the week, and we were talking just on how relatable things are. Our programs are not at the same level. That's fine. You and I are not at the same level athletically. I'm just not at your level athletically. I accept that. I know that you being a 2-time Olympian, if I'm an Olympian once in my life, I am extremely happy. You're thinking about the 3rd time. I don't even think I'll be an Olympian, right? And I recognize that. But the fact that we can sit down at the same table, have a conversation, and be able to relate it, I think that's the best part. That's why I have the podcast, right? Because it doesn't matter if you're a student, if you're a student athlete, if you're doing content, like this is all relatable. Your opportunities and preparation as a swimmer, same thing as me as in content, right? Or during the week, I've been studying with one of my friends, and she's a normal student, right? I always give her shit about this. I call her a NARP, but I'm messing with her. But the way she studies for finals is the way one of you would be preparing for NCs or for the Olympics. Like, she is locked in, waking up 5 a.m. to review, staying up until 10, 11, like just reviewing, studying, memorizing. And that to me is like incredible how relatable it all is. So going back to your story, European's amazing, Barcelona's amazing, but it's not that time. You go to the Olympics. First of all, what's that experience like? Just being in Tokyo during a pandemic, everything is locked down. What's it like? But it's still the Olympics, so I mean...
It's just the Olympics, but it's insane the fact that it didn't feel like them, not all the time, but like there were some parts that it didn't feel like them just because, you know, we would try to get out of the village just to like explore the city and, you know, see the difference in the people and the culture and the air and everything. And we couldn't, just because of COVID. There were so many restrictions that we had to follow because it's not just that. So there are so many different athletes from different countries meeting at the same place. It's just that every single one of them have a like. It's not the fact that two countries or like various different countries are meeting together. It's like every single guy within that country has a different background. And it could have been in any part of the world. So when you celebrate Olympics, there are only a few countries that are not participating.
Mm-hmm. It's worldwide.
So the risk is insane, especially in the middle of like a global pandemic. But taking that out, like, you know, the biggest change was the Olympic Village of like having all the measurements, the masks on, not being able. Well, the dining hall, now that I remember, they were like kind of like plastic screens in front of everybody. In front of you and on your sides, so you couldn't see. Like you couldn't barely talk to your teammates or your friends who were sitting down, and it was so annoying. You had to wait until you get out the dining hall to talk. But you know, other than that, once you get into the swimming pool, it felt like Olympics. You get to the swimming pool, you look up in the stands, and they don't feel like stands. They feel like a stadium, which is insane for us. For us, we normally have like stands on the sides, and that's it. We walk through the door, and we see all these lights. We see all the people that are cheering because, you know, fans couldn't be there, but we will be our own fans.
Yeah.
We'll have our teammates up there. So watching all these lights, watching all these people in the stands, and feeling like you're about. I mean, I'm sure it feels normal for you, but like feeling that you're about to start like a football game or a soccer game, it's just unbelievable for us. So all the excitement was there, and it was just amazing. It was amazing.
That's so awesome. That's incredible. When you were there, I mean, obviously there's other members of Cal's program. I know even your coach was there. Did you get a chance to see them or talk to them?
Yeah, I had the chance to. Couldn't really talk about swimming because, you know, they were representing the USA. I was representing Spain. So
yeah.
Like, it was limited, the content that we are allowed to. but it was still great. And I think that was part of the reason why the 100 back final was my first event went so great, because I made the final and I had Ryan Murphy in the same heat. So that took so much pressure out of me, and it made me feel like, okay, this is one more practice. Just, really fast people, but it's just one more practice. I've done this so many times, it's fine. And I actually went best time there, which is great. I placed sixth. I think Ryan Murphy got, I don't know if he got second or third. And the struggle was when I headed to 200 IM, because I had no teammates next to me. And it did feel like I was by myself.
Okay.
Normally at Cal here, there are so many people cheering at the NCAA's 100 back final. I had Murph there, 200 IM. We have a team, but it's so much smaller compared to the American team. So much smaller compared to the Cal team. And it felt again that it didn't feel normal. I didn't know how to race. I was just okay, let's try to make these 200 as fast as possible, but that's not how you swim. What you had to actually think, you have to know how much energy you're spending with each leg and control all of that. And it really felt like I was alone.
Yeah, I mean, talk about hanging out with the greats, right? You were so used to it that, you see Murphy, and it's like, wow, I'm back in my comfort zone. When many people probably see Ryan Murphy, and they're like, holy shit, this is going to be a race. For you, it was like, let's go, finally, like, one of my bros.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, yeah, congrats on that. Sixth is insane. Like, I think just being an Olympian alone, full respect. 2-time Olympian, absolutely all respect. Yeah. Olympic finalist, wow. Like, that is absolutely incredible. Congratulations. And even 11th in the 2IM. I know you have high standards, I get it, but congratulations. Like, that's insane. I didn't realize this. I've had Olympians on here before, but you're the first male Olympian that I've had on here.
Oh, so, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I just realized that right now, because the Olympic conversations I had, or sorry, no, it's not, because Bjorn was here.
Oh, Bjorn.
Yeah.
There we go.
Sorry, Bjorn. But yeah, I mean, I haven't talked about the Olympics since I talked with him, which is back in November. So yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. Congratulations. And everything's going well. I'm sure you rested after that. Yeah?
Yeah.
So you took time off. How did that go for you after such a great year? But we're getting into more things, right? So that's one of your best years up until now. We got to think about...
Probably my best year ever, to be honest.
We got to think about where we were at the beginning.
Yeah.
That kid from Auburn, and in this, completely different level, right?
Yeah. Yeah, in both, like physically and mentally.
Physically, mentally, you're happy now. Yeah. You're loose.
It just feels like I'm up. Don't want to say home because my parents aren't here, but like in terms of like my life, my routine, I feel like home. It feels, not saying easy, just saying it feels like I feel comfortable in this situation.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like I'm getting to the point I'm gonna miss it, not because time passes, but because it's just great to be here.
Yeah. And I get it too. Like for me, this felt like my freshman year in a way, because it's the first school year that I've had that it's normal. And even for me, like I'm leaving in a few days, and I called my mom today, and I called some of my friends, and I'm like, this feels nostalgic to me. And it's like, I'm coming back. I'm literally coming back in a week, in 1 week. And it's like, why am I feeling so nostalgic about Berkeley? And honestly, I love UC Berkeley. I love Cal. I love Cal Athletics. Like, I love being here. And it's the first time I've fully been here. And it's like, damn, like, I don't want to go. I love home. I love my family. I want to see them very badly because I haven't seen them all year. But yeah, I feel you. Great. All of that happens.
Yeah.
What are your goals after that? Like, there's only so much you can set, or what type of mentality do you have? Is it like, all right, mission accomplished, or immediately done, next? What type of guy are you?
Well, I'm the type of guy that keeps updating its goals. I feel like after the 2021 season, with like after the COVID, the post-COVID season happened, I had certain goals that if I achieve, like for example, it's easy for me to talk about times. So if I swam about a second slower in the 100 back, and about the same time or a second slower in 200 IM, I would have been okay with quitting swimming at that time. If anything happened,
Okay.
I'm saying I wanted to quit, but like if I got injured,
Yeah.
and I had a little bit slower season in 2021, I would have been like, okay, this is probably really close to the level that I could have ever been. After 2021, I took a great break. It was actually hard to get in shape again. But after that, I started thinking, okay, there are quite a few things that I didn't really do, that if I implement that in my routine, I can probably be faster. So that the thought of, okay, I do believe I can be faster, is also it also implies that you're gonna have this thought of, okay, then that wasn't your best. Then you shouldn't be satisfied with what you've done already. You could do more.
Were you satisfied at any point?
I was satisfied. I don't want to say I was mad. I was happy. But I could still do more.
Yeah.
And that's what is driving me right now. You know, I think the biggest issue that can happen to me is that if I head to World Championships in a month and I swim crazy fast and I start thinking, okay, that was my best, I don't think I can match that ever. Then I'll start thinking, okay, what's the point of keep swimming then if I cannot do that again?
Yeah.
So it was actually great to like have that moment of relax and time off from the pool, time off from school, and thinking, wait a second, that was really great, but like that wasn't perfect.
So let me understand this. You took time to be satisfied, you took time to celebrate, but then you reflected, and it's like, hey,
Yeah.
there's more to this. There's more I can do.
Yeah, and the easiest example for this, to explain people, is I did swim slower at the Olympics than in a random meet in Barcelona. Okay, why wouldn't I be able to swim as fast in Barcelona at the Olympics and get the same result that I already did with, instead of placing 11th in Tokyo, placing actually 5th at the Olympics twice? That's already a better result, right?
Yeah.
So that's what's driving me right now. It's like, okay, if I was able to do it, I don't know, like a Saturday in Barcelona, why wouldn't I be able to do this again in Paris?
And that's what's driving you right now. Yeah, it's that constant pursuit of excellence, right? It's what keeps us going, not the fact that we've already done something and that we're that good, but the idea that something else is possible. That
knowing that you have the chance.
Yeah. Knowing that chance exists, it's the gasoline that keeps going. Amazing. Well, you come back from that, and I mean, you said it took you time to get into shape, but you were king of the pool. And right away. So, I mean, things were going well for you. For those that don't know, that's a meet at Cal Poly, and you guys compete in 5 events, and it's 100 for every single one of the events. You took first in the back and the IM, no shocker there, right? Your 2 best events, and then second and third in the other 3 events. King of the pool. How are you feeling coming back and being like, wow, that's your first king of the pool, right? Okay.
Honestly, it was super unexpected.
Okay.
Because at that moment, I was still thinking, okay, it's time to keep working and getting in shape. I'm not ready to swim fast. And then first meet, I'm already hitting like fast times, like getting like 0.05 away from my best time. And I'm thinking, okay, this is great. Like, like luck can happen one day. So I'm still not super excited about it because it's just one day, not even like several days. So we keep going from dual meets to dual meets, and I keep getting faster and faster, without really feeling like I've been ready. Like feeling like, okay, there are so many things that I can still do better, like sleeping better, like going to bed early, waking up, warming up, stretching, for example. So I started doing these things, and I keep getting better and better, and I'm like, and that's what after first 5 dual meets is when I started thinking, okay, this is looking really well, even better than the season before, and that's when I started getting my hopes high. Yeah.
Wow, dude, it excites me. Like genuinely, it's exciting because I know what's coming. We'll dive straight into it, honestly, because I mean the dual meets are fun, but I came to personally realize that they're not as important. I used to watch you guys and I'm like, oh, this is sick, and then I realized that even just with the tech suits, like, it's a completely different level. Yeah. You guys aren't even shaved, which I didn't really know about. So just with that real quick, with what you've mentioned, do you have a specific routine now? You mentioned that you didn't warm up properly at NC's not this year, but last year, and then caffeine at Pac-12s last year as well. So do you have a specific routine now with like stretching, morning prep, caffeine? Like, how does that work for you?
Well, I got to the point that I really started to know how my body works.
Okay.
In terms of I took caffeine in 2020, and I swim really well. I swim really well for 100 AM. I took, again, caffeine at NCAA's 2021. I got second at 2 AM, couldn't really sleep for the 4 AM.
Yeah.
So I started to really get to know how much caffeine I should take. It's not just the caffeine, that's it. You had to know how much you're taking of everything.
Is it coffee or energy drinks?
For me, it was pre-workout.
Okay.
For me. But there is a difference in between drinking water or making sure you drink water before going to bed and after you wake up. There's a difference between if you drink water right before a race or like an hour before a race.
Yeah.
Because then it's not great if you have to go to the bathroom right before going for a max effort for 2 minutes or 4 minutes. So I got to the NCAAs this year, and I felt like I was in control with everything that I was doing. And that, just not just my performance, but like watching all of our guys knowing what to do. And man, it's not even just saying. You can see in our faces how hungry we were to bring the title back after losing to Texas. And after having the season that we thought we could win again canceled because of COVID.
Exactly.
So we've been waiting for this season for 2 years.
Yeah.
Or 3 years. It depends on how you look at it. But it's just so long. Working, being able to work with the same guys every single time, bringing back the 5th year guys 1 more year just to pursue this dream, because they love swimming, but it was time for a lot of them. It was time to move on. As you can see, some of them just quit swimming already.
Yeah.
It happens, but the main objective for some of them wasn't even to swim fast. It was just to help the team to bring the title back. And they did it, and me and so many people as seniors can see that they're not stepping on the pole deck to be their best times. They're not, you can see it, some of the practices, you could see the pain and how tired they were, and try to cheer them on. And by the tone of the response that they will give you when you say come on man, you can do it, they will not tell you yes, I can do it, or okay. They will say no, shut up. But not in a bad sense, in the sense of I don't need you to cheer for me. I'll cheer for you.
Wow.
But they leave me alone. If I'm struggling. Don't focus on my times.
Wow.
And this year, you could see how some of them, Bryce Murphy, for example, he was an Olympian this year. I mean, it's really hard to explain in words how hard he's worked to be the second best American to back this year, showing up to NCAAs next year, and just making the final and scoring points was his objective goal. He wasn't really trying to win the race. He was just trying to give us points. You could really feel that it was a team effort. It wasn't we were not swimming, but we were not racing for individual titles. It didn't matter at all.
That's so special. That's so special. That's crazy, and it's why you're national champions, right? It's that mentality that you guys have that keeps you going. That's crazy. I mean, it's from the entire year, but even January 1st, you guys know, dry season, you're straight into it, you're locked in, no messing about, and you did that 3 months later, and it's not even those 3 months, it's the 2 years, 3 years of that cycle that kept you going. In terms of controlling the controllables, you controlled everything in your power, and that's why you had such a good performance, right? But let's go back to Pac-12s. You were still a Pac-12 champion. Were you? Yeah, you were a Pac-12 champion this year in the 2 AM and the 4 AM, right?
No.
No?
I think this year, 2022.
Yeah.
I didn't win any title.
In the Pac-12?
I won one title. It was a relay title.
In Pac-12s?
Yeah.
Really? No, that's right. This is in national. I must have gotten the wrong year, but the point is, I remember specifically, speaking about controlling the controllables in the Pac-12, was when you had the tech suit that was when you were wearing the Spanish tech suit and you had to go back and change. What was that? You didn't control the controllables there, so what happened there?
So I didn't know about this rule that there is a limit of the logo size that we can wear in our suits. So I didn't tell my coaches, but because I didn't think it was something that we had to talk about. I didn't think it was going to be something that was going to play a role, especially because, we are allowed to wear these suits at the Olympics and Worlds. So I'm saying, like, why would it be illegal to wear it in a college meet? So yeah, I put this Spanish suit, head to the 200 AM final, because I normally race with older suits that I think are not great in the morning, so I can have like a little extra psychological advantage for myself. So I head to the final, and after stepping on the blocks, I'm told by my coach, volunteer coach, that I'm not step down and like change suits, and to put a Texas on usually it takes like 20 minutes.
Wow, 20 minutes to put a tech suit on?
Yeah,
wow.
Because it's not just super tight, but like once you get it, it's not just a piece of clothes that you can wear. It has to be be perfect in every single angle. Otherwise, you either gonna feel weird or water is gonna get in. So I am told to change suits. I head to I don't even know what room this was, but I head to a random room, change suits. Obviously, it's not great. I just put in like 2 minutes. It has it's just not flat at all.
Yeah.
There's our whistling for the for the swimmers to get on the blocks, and I'm not even there yet because I'm still tying my suit so it doesn't fall.
That's it. I saw you. Yeah, you were tying. Yeah, that's insane.
So I get on the blocks. I have an awful race. Kind of feel bad for my racers at that moment because I made them wait for like extra long time, which is never great. I don't know what I placed, but I should have been racing for the win. Doesn't mean I have to win, but I was in that title contender for that meet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was like a moment of realizing, okay, it's time to be professional out of the water. Be in the water, it's fine. I know how to race. It's time to get everything ready, making sure that all these little mistakes happen in the conference meet, not at the NCAA championships.
All right, and let's go straight into that. What happens at NCs? I know what happens, obviously, but take me through that, especially the 400 IM race. It's your first 400 IM A final at NCs, which is insane to think because the year before you should have won it, and not only that, your first year at Cal, the team wins, but you weren't there. The second year you were here at Cal, you're having a great season so far, but then COVID hits. The season after that, you do amazing, but then you show up, and it's the B final that you're in instead of when you could have won it. And that point differential, hate to break it to you, but it could have made the difference between you guys winning or Texas winning, and Texas ended up winning.
Yeah.
So you get to this year, you made that little mistake in Pac-12s, but now you're ready. Take me through that 400 AM final in the NCAA.
So I think everything started in the morning. Not even the final. In the morning, I raced the 200 AM the day before. I actually hit a PB, but instead of placing second, as I did the year before, I placed sixth. So I started to realize, okay, this meet is going to be insanely fast, not just because it's fast by itself, but because there are so many programs last year that couldn't train as well as they wanted to, same as us.
Yeah.
That now they can, and now they're swimming faster. So at this point, my main goal was I wasn't even thinking about the final. I was thinking okay, I'm gonna treat this morning swim as it was the final. I'm gonna get the plays that I listen to, the right songs. I'm gonna get the caffeine ready in the morning. I'm gonna get the proper warm up. I'm gonna get, and the worst part of the warm up is that you have to get your heart rate high, just so it doesn't feel exhausting when you're doing it in a race. You have to get used to like that little pain for like a few seconds,
Yep.
or like a few minutes, just so it feels normal when you're racing. So I get to the morning. There are normally, it's not by order. Normally, like the last two heats are the fastest ones, but the fastest swimmer goes in the last heat. The second fastest swimmer goes in the second to last heat, and the third fastest swimmer, which was me in that moment, goes in the third to last heat. So it's not like I can know what the other guys are doing. So yeah, I just decided to treat that as if it was a final.
Wow.
I dive and fly. The guys are already a bit behind, and all my mindset was like, it doesn't matter. You're not saving energy. Just keep sending it. Keep pushing. So yeah, I think I swam the best time ever. Just in the morning. It was just qualifying. Like I really didn't need to, but I feel like I needed to just to be mentally ready. Because for me, it feels like if I'm not giving 100% or a 99%, I'm giving an 80. There is no 90% for me, especially in that event, because it's such a long race that as soon as you start feeling off, it affects everything.
Wow.
So, yeah, I hit the fastest time I've ever swum in that event. I think it was the third fastest time in history that time. All good. Touch the wall, break the cal record, getting high, but trying to control my emotions, because then like the following thought is not, okay, I just broke the cal record, that's good. No, the first thought is like, okay, made the final, time to calm down so I have energy for the final. Head to the warm down pool, and then I see Carson Forster going 3:33, like 3/10 away from the American record. And I'm like, okay, this is getting really, really intense. I mean, my time would have won so many NCAA championships. But now it's only the second fastest time in the meet. And we still have one more heat to go, which is Leo Marchand, which is like a crazy French guy.
He had an insane
insane.
Pac-12s and then NCAAs.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah, he just broke the NCAA record the day before the 200 AM, which is the short version. But he was the Olympic finalist before I am at Tokyo. So this dude knows how to swim. So we finished the morning swims. Carson Forster qualifies first. I qualified second. And Marchand, I think, qualified, I'm not sure, like sixth. But, we all know he was going to swim fast.
Oh, it's in the morning. Yeah.
So, I think the objective of the whole day was just trying to stay away from social media and ignoring the fact that I broke the... Sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, so the whole objective was to ignore social media and to ignore how fast I swam and just focus on things that I could improve for the final. Even though that was already hard, because as I told you, I treated that as a final. There was nothing else that I could have done in the morning. So, and then, yeah, we head to finals. We have Jason Lauser in the B final. He swam. I think he won the B final. So I have a little moment of resemblance and thinking, that happened to me the year before. So I gave him a hug. He's walking back from the pool, and as I'm walking to the blocks, and I just remember looking at my lane, looking at the ride, seeing Carson Forster, who has the second fastest time in history at that moment, almost breaking the American record. Having Leo Marchand, who broke the NCAA record, which is faster than the American record, in lane 8, which just means like I'm not gonna be able to see him. Like it doesn't matter what happens, if he goes fast, I won't know during the race.
Do you usually like to see the guys who are next to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a great reference to know like if you are doing well or not. So this means like for a 4 AM, which is a long event, you have no idea what happens until you touch the wall and you turn and you see the result. So I just remember looking at the lane and then having a moment of a switch and saying, like, okay, this is not finals anymore. This is just pushed to the limits. Like, if I don't make it to the wall at the end, doesn't matter. So my plan, normally I have a plan of like having a certain speed of each leg of the 4IM, and that's it. So if you go too fast and fly, for example, you're not gonna make it back. If you go too fast on backstroke, you might be ahead of by that point of the race, but then you won't be able to do a great breaststroke or great freestyle. And I just remember saying the blogs and saying, like, okay, doesn't matter. Screw all the plan. Screw everything that we planned for. Let's just go for it. And so we started the race. I finished the fly leg. I'm already touching first. I could see that. I touched first. And that was the moment I was like, okay, this is working. I'm not tired yet. Let's keep pushing. I get to the backstroke, finish backstroke. Normally that's my worst leg, even though it's my best stroke. It's my worst leg because I came off a fly. And I'm still touching first. And I feel like that's what finally sent me to to the result that I'm about to tell you. It's that I touched backstroke. That was 50% of the race, and I pushed from breaststroke. And the only thought that I had in mind was all the practice that I've done with, especially with Destin Lasco, which is a great swimmer, great teammate, and especially Reese is our best stroker of the 200 by far. So I just remember all the practice that I've been with him, all the pain, and just like knowing that he was watching, and me in every single stroke trying to show him, dude, like, look at what you've done. You helped me be fast, and I'm going to show you how fast I become thanks to you. So I finished the breaststroke leg. I think it was probably one of the fastest ever. And I just head to freestyle. I'm like 3 bodies ahead of everyone. I'm just like, okay, I'm not even tired. I don't know how, but I'm still looking great. As soon as I turn and push from the wall, there is no energy left. It feels like my tank went from 100% to like 0. But I know I'm still 3 bodies ahead, so I still know that I can still win the race. So I keep like, trying to finish the freestyle. I think it was the second slowest split of all guys in the final. But I still managed to finish the freestyle leg and just touch the wall. I think I still have a little bit of time to look at the very end lane, which was Leon Marchand. I think I saw him getting second or third. So I know I won. I look back at the cow fans, look back at my teammates, back at just the cow section. It's just all the excitement of like proving them that I was worth to be part of this team. Because that was kind of the disappointment I got from winning the B final last year instead of the A final. Was like, guys, like, we worked this, and like, I deserve to be here, and you guys deserve this result, not me, but you guys.
Wow, that's insane. And like we said at the beginning, you were with the greats, you hung out with them, you've been training with them, you've been there, and now you proved why you deserve to be with the greats and why now you're the greatest 400 IM swim ever in the NCAA. You have the record now, and you won the national championship in that with a 3:32.88, which is insane. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's insane. You guys go on to be NCAA champions. I remember watching the last relay, the 400 free.
Yeah.
You closed it off. You guys won that as well. So individual national champion, relay national champion, team national champion. I was actually in Madrid that day, and I all-nightered just watching it. And I remember,
insane.
I was watching. I'm like, I'm not going to sleep. And I watched you finish that, and that was insane. 4-time All-American. That's insane, and what a year.
Yeah.
What a year.
Thank you. Yeah.
What's next for you? You have a 5th year coming up, or what's that looking like?
I have the option. To take a 5th year, just like the guys did this year. So it's not a. I thought it was gonna be a no. I thought after the 2021 season, it was actually gonna be my last. The 2022 was gonna be the last season because, as I told you, once you reach specific goals, my problem is that I start thinking that I'm not gonna be able to repeat that, because I look at least at swimming, not at life, but in swimming, I look at times as a kind of like a scale. So there is always gonna be a limit for each guy in each event, but the goal as an athlete should be to get the closest to the limit as possible. And I don't think you're ever gonna get that because there's always something that you can do better. There's always 1 minute of extra sleep, extra stretch, extra work, extra technique that you can do. But the goal should be to get as close as possible. After the 2021 season, I thought that I was really close, so I wasn't gonna extend that over 2023. But here we are, still thinking about taking a 5th year.
Okay. I mean, you have the 5th year option. I think you even have the 6th year option, which is insane.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens in the future, but for now, you have Worlds in a month. Europeans as well?
Europeans in August, yeah.
Yeah, so you have a busy summer. I will definitely be watching. I'm very excited. You've gained a fan today. Like I definitely was like, yeah, we're friends. We met once, cool. But no, you gained a real fan today. This was super inspiring, and I love to get to know your story. Just to close off real quick, I have some questions out of curiosity. A bit quicker questions, but we'll see. How difficult was it for you to change from meters to yards?
Really difficult at first. Yeah, I don't even swim the same events.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. My best event in meters is backstroke. My best stroke in meters is backstroke. My best stroke in yards is breaststroke. I don't even race that in meters. I only race medley, IM, and backstroke in meters, which is pretty crazy.
Wow. Yeah, that's insane. So you know what? I've never done this before, but let's do it right now. 3 rapid fire questions. All right?
Okay.
Yards or meters?
Yards.
Songs before the race, rap or reggaeton?
Rap.
Rap. Okay, interesting. And last one, language. Spanish or Portuguese?
Spanish.
Okay, interesting. Because I know you're trilingual. So before the meet, you're listening to rap.
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. I love reggaeton. It's just it brings me memories that I cannot bring with me in the pool. But I do love them.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, looking forward to everything you have. I mean, I definitely had a few more questions, but I think I'll leave with one more because of what you said with the hydration.
Yeah.
Is it in practice you're drinking water sometimes or things like that? Mm-hmm. Do you guys pee in the pool?
What I can answer is that there are so many more swimmers than people think that pee in the pool. I can only say that.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. It's an interesting way to finish. Really looking forward to what's in store for you, whether that's a 5th year, whether that's Worlds, Europeans, Paris, because I know 2016 was in Rio, which is a special place for you. Tokyo was a bit weird, but it's awesome. But I know you're definitely looking for that. Like I said, you gained a fan today. This is the most fun I've had here in a very, very long time, honestly, which is awesome. I don't know why first time I've ever timed an episode today, and it's the longest I've ever recorded.
Oh, really? Wow.
How long do you think we've gone?
I had no idea. I lost track of time. Have we been, let's say 2 hours.
2.5 hours right now.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. So it's awesome, but
okay.
The amount of clips we're going to get from this is, because I'm not sure how many people will watch 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But we will have endless videos coming out from this, which will be awesome. But yeah, we went from early 6 p.m. to nighttime. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah, I actually not seen any natural light, which is,
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean the girls upstairs, they went through a pregame. I don't know if you listened, but they were
I was
partying
yeah.
at some point. Yeah, so
And they stopped.
yeah, and they already stopped. So they
We
started
did the whole party.
Yeah, literally, we started the podcast and they started their pregame and finished their pregame, and they're probably going out now. So shout out to them. I'm not gonna say their names, but they know who they are. But anyways, that's pretty much it. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Not just there's something more that I wanted to say is that keep looking for these podcasts because they're getting better and better, and I just can't wait to see how far you get.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it, and I'm hoping that wherever it is that life leads you and leads us, that I can do this again sometime with you, whether that's here or in Madrid or wherever it is. I'm really looking forward to it. So thank you so much. And to everyone that watched on YouTube or listened on Spotify, thank you guys so much. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're on Spotify, please follow the podcast. That's it for today. I'll see you guys next time.
That was great.
That's it.
Yeah, probably the last thing that I would to kind of repeat is the question about peeing in the pool. I feel like I need to pay some honors to the swimmers. That's the bad response.
Yeah, wait, what do you mean?
To repeat the answer.
You want to repeat the answer?
Yeah.
You want to repeat it right now?
Yeah.
I haven't cut it out. We're literally still recording.
Let's
do it. I mean, I'm not gonna cut this out at all.
No, that's fine.
This is live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep talking. Yeah. We're good.
Yeah. I need to get explanation. I cannot leave my my swimmer fellow teammates that bad.
All right. So the question was, do you guys pee in the pool?
I gotta say, there are probably more people than you think that pee in the pool. But there are also so many more safety measurements to keep everyone safe that you think.
There you go. So the first response, we'll bleep it and I'll figure something out. But safety measurements do take place. We're good.
Is it true? But yeah, I had to pay some honors to the team.
You're good. I mean, it was more of a joke.
Yeah.
And I think people will know that. So that's it. Are we good?
Yeah, we good.
Perfect. Thank you guys all. I'll see you guys next time.
Damn, 2 hours and a half. That's just insane.
I mean, I enjoyed it.